goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. There goes a sight from my soul. I think it's all angels just walk by. 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 There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my there goes a sight. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul.
1, 2, 3, jump!
Get wild.
Chiefs Kingdom. It's time for All Chiefed Up with your hosts, Steve and Mike Williams.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up, the best damn Kansas City Chiefs podcast in the kingdom.
Chiefs Kingdom, what's up, baby? Noah Gray here, tight end for your Kansas City Chiefs. You're listening to All Chiefed Up with Mike and Steve Williams.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, everybody? This game is still going. This is the longest game. The first quarter took an hour.
It's still
Like
going.
in real time. I think they're still in the first quarter, actually. But yeah, this game's been interesting to say the least. I think it's muddied the waters a little bit for you. Mike was talking about that right before we jumped on live. He's like, man, I felt more confident about the 53-man roster before this game started. And I see the same sentiment in the chat so far.
Yeah, well, it's because there's a few players on the 53, like right at that bubble. And we said they got to stack games. That's Amir Smith-Marsette. That's Perine. We wanted to see what some of the tackles look like. We wanted to see what some of the corners look like. Every single person that needed to stack a game did that today. They did it. Bushman's even done it.
Right.
It's tough, man. It's going to be tough. They're making our job harder. That's for sure.
I feel like some of it doesn't matter. Like, as good as Amir Smith-Marsette is performing, I don't think it changes anything with the wide receiver room. I think it was 7. It's got to be 7. There's not room for anybody else. I think that he has made it to where he's not clearing waivers. Somebody's going to take a stab at him after his performances in the preseason. So he's not going to be a Chief. He's going to be playing for somebody probably. I guess the most interesting one, I was really looking at the cornerback position when we first started the game. I was like, I really wanted to pay attention to the Echo Boydo, Khalif Halsey. My mind's made up there. I might be a little biased, but I feel like Halsey kind of has a lock on that one. Boydo has not played terrible, but he hasn't done enough, I don't think. If they decide to go with Nick Jones for sure, because we don't know that. You know what I'm saying? It could be Halsey and Boydo.
Well, you still got tons of like injury concerns. Like, we don't know if they're going to put Tony on the IR to kick off the season.
Right.
You don't know if they're going to have to put Nick Jones on the IR to start the season. There's so many like factors here that's going to go into making this 53 kind of crazy. You
know, the battle that's brewed up during this game is still going on. It's the most interesting and intriguing is LaMichael Perine and Deneric Prince. Because like LaMichael Perine's came out and stacked games, like you said. He's out there playing well. And then Deneric Prince is like, nay, I have to do it too. I have to come out and start flashing. I gotta get a rocket up my butt here. And he started playing really good as well. So those guys are kind of
there was a big difference today. Big difference on what happened. All we've ever seen from Perine versus Prince is Prince. Every time he gets a handoff, the play is a generic up the middle run. You seen here later in the game, they started giving him a few of the off tackles, a few of the sweeps, a few of the little things that the Chiefs will run.
Yeah, let them do a little bit.
And it showcased some of his speed. It didn't just showcase him running right up the middle and hitting somebody because, by the way, these offensive lines we have are trash run blockers. The first team run blocking is complete trash. Right. And we said we were going to get that with Jawan Taylor. Upgrade at right tackle for pass blocking, run blocking stinks. He stinks at run blocking. He's got to get it together. And, the first team just is not good run blockers. We're going to take a big step back there. Everybody that thinks Pacheco's getting to that 1,000 yards, you better hope to God the offensive line got the memo.
Yeah, like, I'm not trying to vouch for Clyde here and say he's great or anything, but I think one of the worst takes from this game I've seen so far on X and everywhere else is that Clyde is just complete garbage. Clyde got like 3 handoffs, and like you said, the run blocking stunk.
Yeah, run blocking sucks.
It was terrible.
Like
he had nowhere to go. It didn't matter what he did.
Right. What do you expect running backs to do when they're getting the ball and they're getting hit in the backfield? Like,
right. And I think it's a big wake-up call for Andy Reid and Matt Nagy as well. Andy Reid loves delayed handoffs and things like that. And if you got an offensive line that can't freaking run block for crap, good luck. They're going to get busted up in the backfield like you saw in the first drive. Probably the first play the Chiefs had.
We seen for the first time they used Prince in the passing game.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we keep seeing.
That's where he needs to be.
Perine's had a few flash runs too, but again, they haven't been the up the gut runs. They've been those off tackle runs. This is what Prince just showed he can do as well. But Perine's been used a lot in the passing game. I told you before we come on the air, I think he's almost a McKinnon type clone. I think it's him and Ely. I don't know what's going to happen there, but some people are like, Perine's just a ton better than Prince. Well, A, he's been in the league for 5 years, and Prince is a UDFA. Let's pump the brakes on that. And
Right.
B, they're two totally different running backs. Prince is the straightforward, like he's got some agility, don't get me wrong, but Prince is the prototypical running back, whereas Perine is your third down kind of running back where he's going to excel in the passing game. And he done well today. He scored a touchdown off that. He looks good. He looks shifty. But again, this is another thing that we said. Certain players fit in certain offenses. And I think Perine fits this offense. Perine has got a chance to make this 53, a legit chance to make this 53. You may just stash Prince to the practice squad. Do you take the chance on him getting poached? I don't know if he's done enough to get poached.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he does look good. There's some upside, but that's about it. I mean, these same teams passed on him 7 times in the draft, so it might not have changed their mind any what he's done in the preseason. Like you said, LaMichael Perine and Jerry Ely are both in the vein of Jerick McKinnon. They're both those type of guys.
Yes.
I think what's hurting Ely, I'll be quite honest, he's not getting as many looks, so there's that. But I feel like when he does have opportunities, he's pretty decent. He hasn't flashed like Perine, but like I said, he's had a tenth of the opportunities. And I think what hurts him is his size. I don't think they like how small he is when it comes to having to learn the pass protections and things. That's the only thing I can figure because, super fast.
I've noticed with Ely as well, they're giving him on a lot of his runs, they're just putting him right up the gut.
Right, which you would never do with that little guy, right?
Yeah, he's like 17 pounds. Why would you put him right up the gut? It doesn't make any sense.
This guy runs a 4.3, 4.40. Yeah, he's tiny. You don't run him up the gut, especially with some poor run blocking going on. The only good run blocking that I've seen has come from the inside on the second team. I feel like Kennard has done well. Caliendo has done well.
Yeah.
Some of those
Austin
guys.
Ryder has looked
Did you notice
horrendous
that they had
today.
Caliendo taking snaps at center? And Ryder was playing guard for a minute. It was weird. I don't know what they were up to there.
Well,
Just
I
checking
noticed
some different things out.
the play that Gabbert got hit on earlier. Wanye completely lost his guy to the inside. Wanye's getting a little bit overran on that left tackle position.
It's going to take some time for Wanye.
It's going to take some time.
We knew that.
I think looking at the game so far, I think Niang, as we all know, stinks. And I think Prince Tega is the better swing tackle. I think Prince Tega is our swing tackle for the time being.
You think he's above Wanye?
Well, yeah. Wanye's a rookie.
Okay.
He's smarter. He's better. I think
there was a lot of people thinking that Prince wasn't going to make the 53-man roster, which I think is absurd.
That's where I think they're wrong. I think Niang's off the roster.
Yeah.
Look, the Chiefs do some stupid stuff, and they do some weird things that we don't understand there with those players at 53. We said Kano have a big day. Kano comes out with a sack. We said, are the Chiefs going to take 3 or 4 tight ends? Bushman comes out and has a pretty good game today and scores a touchdown. They're making it as hard as they can. Great for the players. Boodle even has a pick. And we know how the Chiefs love Boodle. They can't get off of him. That might just be enough today that they're like, hey, we love Boodle.
I think Boodle's firmly a practice squad guy.
I don't care what we think. It's what the Chiefs think. And that's the thing. Like we're not mind readers. We can give you what I think should be the 53. The Chiefs are never are easy to gauge like that. So there's going to be the disconnect because we don't think Kano's done well.
Disconnect, right? It's like what you predict.
Kano shouldn't have made the roster last year, and he did. Right. So that's what I'm saying.
It's just that's the nature of the beast when you're trying to predict things like this. It's kind of hard to do because you don't know where that team's head's at with a lot of little things, and there's a lot of little things that go into these decisions.
Right. Khalif Hallisey's played a heck of a game today.
Yeah,
has he done enough to get on? I don't know.
He stacked all 3 preseason games, and he looks the part, and plays the part.
And what can Andy Reid and Dave Tobe decide? Boodle's a better special team player. We'll take Boodle at the 6th.
I don't see that happening at all.
It's very, very good possibility.
Maybe Boydo. They seem to like Boydo for whatever reason. I think he's decent, but I don't see anything crazy from him.
I think if they had their pick.
I don't know. It's interesting. Mike, this is something that me and you are going to have to hash out after this live stream today because we got our 53-man roster prediction coming up. We're going to be recording it tomorrow, dropping it Monday morning, a day before the cuts happen. So it'll be interesting to see what we come up with. You guys let us know in the chat who you think made their way onto the squad with their preseason performance that you weren't expecting.
Right.
Put that in the chat.
Gat Mage, what's up, Gat? Subscribe to the channel, bro. If you love the Chiefs, love to have you here talking Chiefs. He says not a big Ross guy, Justyn Ross, but I'd keep him an 82 over Watson. So Smith-Marsette. I just don't think the Chiefs are going to cut Justyn Watson. Like,
Do you here? Can I put this into perspective?
right.
Like Justyn Watson has performed almost as much as Amir Smith-Marsette in the preseason going against ones. And Amir Smith-Marsette's out there doing this to third and fourth stringers. So you have to keep that in mind.
Well, the Amir Smith-Marsette touchdown earlier looked great. When you go back and watch film, the Browns blew a coverage.
Right.
So let's think about that for just a second. It's
I
not
think
so much what
Smith-Marsette-
Smith-Marsette did, it's what the Browns did.
I think he done enough to make an NFL team. I think he did, and it's not the Chiefs. I think he's going to be playing somewhere else. I don't see them. I think the only way that you could squeeze him into the 7 is by getting rid of Justyn Watson. And we've talked about this before, Mike. The Chiefs are not going to do that. They gave him the 2-year deal. They like him. They trust him. He gets the job done when they need it. He's going to be there. They're not going to take IMS over
did you
ISM,
not hear?
Sorry, over Justyn Ross. That ain't happening.
Right. Did you not hear who was it? Oh, it was Brett Veach. Did you not hear him in the booth saying that they expect Justyn Ross to have a big year?
Yeah,
you're not cutting him if there's a big year.
He's a lot.
So I don't see that.
Well, when you just saw that one play where he scored, where he caught the touchdown pass earlier, he did something so simple that the Chiefs have not seen in years, and that's having a receiver that can go up and catch a little, jump ball, fade route, whatever it was.
Right.
Like, so simple. A lot of people do this every week in the NFL, but the Chiefs have not been able to do that since what? Debo?
Right. Unconscious conscience. How the Rice wide open drop affect you guys in the moment.
I mean, it's ugly to watch, right? Like,
it's ugly to watch.
Especially the blown play where Gabbert spotted him deep, wide open. That one was hard to watch. But how does it affect me in the moment? I cringe a little, but I'm not worried about it. What about you, Mike?
No, I mean, we said all the way back, I scouted him and I said, is he a 2nd-round pick? Is he a 3rd-round pick? He has all the talent in the world, but he's got a high drop rate. That's exactly what I said. I've said it 1,000 times. He's now dropped 4 or 5 balls in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to deal with that. At some point, he's got to figure out how to get that out of his game. Again, if he goes all season long and drops 5 balls, not a big deal. But when are those 5 balls? When are those drops coming? Critical 3rd downs, critical games.
Drops are just very annoying.
Yeah,
like,
they're annoying,
especially when it's just like blatant drops and there's not even, much, much causing it. Like, just him wide open.
Dude, when he's wide open and it's just the air, he just mistimes it. He looks up and just loses the ball or something.
But, in Rashee Rice's defense, like you said, he had an 8% drop rate in college. I noticed a lot of people were on X today being like, Rashee Rice caught everything that came his way in college, so he'll be just fine. And it's like, what were you guys watching?
You're watching a highlight reel.
Yeah, exactly. 8%. They don't sound terrible, but that's basically 1 out of every 10 balls thrown to him hits a drop. That's not
That's
good.
a lot.
He was one of the, like, as far as like the 1st, 2nd, 3rd round receivers in the draft last year, he was not near the top as far as.
Think about it. At SMU, he was getting somewhere like 100, 130 targets. That means you have 13 drops.
Right.
That's pretty big. You don't want to receive with 13
I mean,
drops.
in his defense, man, it's preseason.
He's going to be fine.
He's a rookie. Everybody remembers the whole Jamar Chase incident where he couldn't catch crap in the preseason, and everybody's like, that was all over ESPN and everywhere. Like, he has a drop problem. He's not going to be any good, right?
Right. He's going to be fine. That's not a problem. But yeah, he's going to drop some. You're just going to have to get used to it, and that's the way it is. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, that's the player they drafted, so they're fine with it, obviously.
Right. They knew it was coming. They're watching the same film we are. Yeah, I don't know, man. They're still going. They just took B.J. Thompson off the field. He was injured, but I think he's fine. He walked off on his own.
Yeah, that sucks. He needed to have a good day.
Reese Taylor's had a couple good plays today in that.
Yeah, he has. But the way that Malik
room.
Herring was playing pretty well earlier, and then Kando got that sack. It sucks for BJ that he just had to come off the field with an injury because he needed to do something, right?
Right. Dude, picking the defensive line is going to be kind of tough. Can we all just agree that Chris Jones has to come back?
I think, okay, if you're still the trade Chris Jones bandwagon, you want the Chiefs to not be that good this year. Like,
right. Like,
you're
that was pretty evident.
Like, you're just over it. You don't want the Chiefs to be winning all the time anymore. Like, at this point, if you're saying trade Chris Jones, we don't need him, I feel like you're a closet Broncos fan just trolling or something.
Right.
That's blatantly
right
obvious
on the
to
back
everybody.
end. Who's that? Just did that on the back end. I didn't even get to see it. Number 42. Was that Cook? No, wait, Cook's 40. Oh, wait, is he 46? Might have been a safety. I don't know.
I don't know.
There's too many numbers out there right now. Yeah, they're digging in deep. We seen Leo get a little injured. He just landed on his like the helmet hit him in the hip, I believe, when he went for that ball.
Yeah, it's like a hip pointer or maybe his ribs. I don't know. It was kind of right there.
He's going to be completely fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine. It just had to hurt a little bit. So you saw that.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Browns, by the way, played their starting number ones for like an entire quarter. Like, right. So when it looked bleak there at the beginning, come on. We didn't even, I don't even know how much our ones actually played. I don't know. I think 100% though, I think where it goes for me today has just been surprising. Perine looked surprising. We said Perine, look, you couldn't overreact through one game with the Cardinals, but after today looks good. But it's that Jerick McKinnon row. That's what it looks like. And it's like, well, we already got Jerick McKinnon wrapped up. So are you going to take two of the same? You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of thing. So that's where the 53 kind of comes in and gets a little weird. Clyde can catch out of the backfield. Clyde, they trust him to handle all the early down work. So again, it's him and Pacheco, and then McKinnon is that third. And so it's that fourth running back that's weird, man. Yeah, it's Perine Prince. What are you going to do? Like, who's going to tell Dave Tobe that his kick returner's out? Who's doing that one?
Man, I mean, that's the thing, though. They were still using him kick returning, like, all day, like, from the get-go. But he wasn't getting much looks at running back, so I thought that was odd. But they gave him his chances here in the fourth quarter at the end of the third. Deneric Prince got plenty of snaps, and like I said, he kind of made a battle out of this thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he looked good when he got some of his opportunities.
I think a lot of it might not be just the play that we see on the field. It might factor in a lot of other things, like maybe it could get to the point to where it comes down to attitude, work ethic,
right?
Potential, like things like that. There's a lot that goes into it because when they're playing this well, both of them, it's kind of hard to say. Obviously, I think Perine has the edge as far as just play on the field goes. But
well, like I said, is it Perine
had more opportunities and in better situations?
Perine is a McKinnon thing. Like, you're going to use Perine on third downs. Like, if you've already got McKinnon on the roster, what do you kind of need Perine for in a way? Perine's not going to bust it up the gut. Like, he's not going to do that. And I know people are like, Clyde's not good at that. Clyde's not the worst between the tackle runner there is, by the way. We just don't have good run blockers.
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of tough to do when you're running blocker. Like, you could have Jerome Bettis back there, and if he's getting hit 2 yards deep in the backfield, you're in trouble.
Well, I think there's like Creed, Trey, Tooney, I'm solid with how they run block. I think they're fine. I know Jawan Taylor kind of stinks at run blocking, and then Donovan Smith's not that great at run blocking either. So they've got to have time to gel and see how it goes, man. I'm not going to write them off as just being terrible, but so far they've shown why, let's say their PFF grades for run blocking are trash over the last few years, right? Like, you've seen why just in the preseason here. So hopefully that gets together. But, it's funny because I don't hate on Clyde like most people, but at the same time, I feel like when you just watch, like, just do the eye test, like, I feel like there's a pretty good gap between Isaiah Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, just size, speed, everything. Like, it's just like it's a different level to me. And it's crazy because Clyde's a first-round pick and Pacheco was a seventh-round pick. But, like, when I see them, it's just like I don't even think they're on the same planet.
Well, the funny thing is, Clyde is the prototypical kind of Andy Reid running back.
Yeah.
He's the little bowling ball looking. Clyde I mean, Pacheco doesn't really have that. Pacheco's just a raging bull. He's fast. He runs hard. He gets crazy. I don't know, man. It just seems like you said, a lot of people hate on Clyde. I get it. Clyde isn't the greatest. Clyde was a first-round pick. He's a bust. We all hate him, blah, blah, blah. They can't trade him. He has no trade value. That's out the window.
I actually saw...
They're not cutting him. He's paid for.
Mark Reynolds was like, why don't we go ahead and trade Clyde and just put Perine in as RB3?
What are you getting for him?
That's what I responded. I was just like, if Isaiah Simmons got a 7th-round draft pick, add in that the running back market is complete garbage right now, we would have to send a big order of burnt ends with Clyde to the team that takes him for free just for them to take him. Like, that's where we're at here.
And of course, people's probably like, well, send burnt ends. That's cool. I'll pay for them. Yeah. Okay. Look, it's just getting ridiculous. The CEH slander is a little wild. Not taking up for Clyde. It sounds like we just constantly take up for Clyde, but you know what it is? It's one of those things where when people pick on people and hate people so much, it makes me want to support them. And I feel like the way the Chiefs Kingdom has been with Clyde, it's annoying.
Chiefs Kingdom does that.
Bit. They just kind of pick and poke and prod over and over. And it's
they'll
you can't
pick
do anything
a player
right.
and they will gang up and
dude, it just kind of gets
crazy.
annoying. I don't know if that's just me sticking up for people. It's like
Mike's a vigilante.
It's just annoying because it's like. We get it. He's not the greatest in the world, but God, calm down. He does produce every once in a while. And Andy likes him. That's the big thing. It's not like Andy's just hearing me and he's like, well, Mike likes him. Let's go ahead and put him out there.
We're not the one getting him all those snaps.
I'm not doing it. But it's like, come on.
Clyde's, I tell you what, man, I think the run blocking affects Clyde more than it does people like Pacheco, per se. Because Pacheco's just like you said, he's a raging bull. He's not very patient. He's not waiting for plays to develop. Clyde is that guy that does that. He'll kind of sometimes he'll run with a purpose. Don't get me wrong. We've seen him run crazy sometimes in the past few years where he just looks like he's drank 4 monsters and he's just raging. But usually he's more the guy that's getting that ball on the delayed handoffs, being more patient, looking for a hole to hit. That's not working. That's definitely not working this year. We've seen that 3 times in a row earlier when they handed him the ball.
I don't know. It's hard to be patient when your offensive line doesn't give you any.
That's what I'm saying.
Anything.
Yeah. Right. My thing is I don't think Clyde's it for the Chiefs. I think this is his last year, and I'm fine with that because I don't think he was very good. I don't think he was worth the pick that we wasted on him. But just to say that he just sucks, he's terrible. I mean, refer back to his rookie season. I mean, why was he going off like that if he sucked so bad? Obviously something was a little different.
I would say it's injuries. He's probably not ever just got back to full.
That affects a person, right?
There's just a lot of things, but it's dude, if he's your running back 2 or running back 3, however you look at it, because McKinnon's not really an RB2, he's a third down back. Clyde's not a third down back. So he's got to be looked at as an RB2, and then RB3 is usually your third down guy. He's a pretty good RB2. It's just somebody you can trust. It's somebody that Andy depends on. He kind of looks at Clyde the way he looks at his backup quarterback, which is why Shane Buechele today proved he's quarterback 3.
Oh, yeah. We all knew
he's a little too big of a gunslinger. And I get it. Chiefs Kingdom wants excitement, and they want crazy, and they want Patrick Mahomes Jr., and they want this and that. But Andy doesn't want that at number 2. You don't want it. You know what I'm trying to say? You got to be smart here. Every single thing. We're not looking for home run hitters along the board. There's just a time and a place for it. I don't know.
I just think it's I don't really care. I have no, it's no skin off my back if Clyde plays or not. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. I don't think it really affects the team that much. You know what I'm saying? It don't really make a difference. But I think that's something that maybe Chiefs Kingdom needs to work on and try to change. I mean, do you realize
they can't.
How ridiculous it is? It's so cliquey. I've noticed they'll find certain players at least one a year that they just absolutely freaking hate, and it's It's like they pick the kid. It's like a bunch of like first graders that pick out the kid that they're going to bully all year. That's kind of what it's like. We had Clyde this year. Chris Jones is starting to feel the heat a little bit just because he's not bowing to each demand that they have. And then last year it was Orlando Brown Jr. And it's like they're going to pick a player every year. Usually it's somebody that wants to get paid. I've noticed that because Chiefs fans are so ingrained. It's ingrained in them to not pay anybody. So usually when it's someone's time to get paid, it's time for them to start hating.
Go home.
What's Andy doing?
He just wants to go home.
I think you want to go home too.
I'm kind of just I want to start digging into the I want to see the replay of this game, and I want to dig into stuff. I've seen a lot of things. Look, everybody's pulling out all the fun. Well, Michael Perine looked good. Amir Smith-Marsette's wide receiver 2 now. Pump the brakes. A. B, I'm not worried about those kind of positions. What's concerning me here is the offensive and defensive lines. They do not look good. You show me a team that is good with an offensive line, and I'll show you the first team in history that's good. Like, you've got to be good in the trenches. And this team right now in the trenches aren't impressing me much. The first team offensive line, fine. They look okay. And I'll give them time to build, but, dude, some of these second and third team offensive linemen stink. Some of these second and third team, dude, look at the Chris Jones production we got. Some of these guys that would be playing meaningful snaps.
I don't know. I'm kind of against you a little bit on one thing.
Well,
like the offensive line, I don't think that they stink. I think the run blocking kind of stinks on the first team.
I mean, that means you stink. That's half the game.
I get that. It's like that's not half the game on an Andy Reid offense. It's a tenth of the game, if that.
Okay, don't have a threat of a run.
That we never do. We didn't
have them running for your life because now they're just going to blitz every play.
Well, I get that. I understand where you're coming from, but I'm saying like the backups, I think have played great in the preseason.
The backups have played serviceable, but today there's been a few that stunk it up, and that's all I'm saying. I just want to go back and see who it is because these might be the guys that get cut. It's hard to watch in real time. You know what I'm saying? So you see something happen, and you're like, dang, what happened? Right. And it may not even be the guy that's coming free on pressure. It may not even be his fault. Maybe he had to pick up somebody. Maybe somebody just shot his gap because somebody missed something. That's why I'm excited to get back and look at it.
Defensive line, though, that's a big concern. Huge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we saw it right at the beginning of this game. It's just like if you watch the first 10 minutes of this game and look, you're still thinking we don't need Chris Jones. And
I said just yesterday that I thought they were trying to make way for Danny Shelton to get on this team. Danny Shelton didn't look good today. From what I seen,
Danny Shelton needed to look good today too.
Right. From what I seen today, Danny Shelton didn't do much. But what I want to do is now dig back into the game, watch it again, watch Danny Shelton, only Danny Shelton, replay it 10 times and see what happened. See if Danny Shelton done his job.
My thing is, man, like I think it's going to come down between Danny Shelton and Derek Nottie. And they've had Derek Nottie for the last few years. They played him over Shelton last year. So do you really think that you think Shelton's done enough to just take that spot and I'm going to go ahead and just surprise cut Nottie? I don't see it.
That's what I'm saying. You're not cutting Coburn, and Turk Wharton's back now, and he's healthy. It don't look like he's going to start the season on the IR.
Right.
So you've got 4. Could he take 5? Possibly. That's what I'm saying. This is what's going to get hard, is where we're going to take those extras. Because we could say they're going to take 4 DTs, and if they take that 5th, then boom, one of our other ones is an automatic miss. So you're picking a 53 is tough because you're not only just picking 53 guys, you're picking 53. You're picking every roster position perfectly with every boom, boom, boom. And if you don't get that right, you're obviously going to miss.
Yep.
Which is why you do a percentage of players. Dude, I'll tell you, the defense looks pretty decent today. Chamari Connor looked kind of shaky early, but he picked it back up. He looked fine. I think Khalif Hallisey's had a good game. Now, the funny thing's going to be...
I think he's on the roster. If not, then they already had their minds made up.
That's what I was going to say. The funny thing is we're going to get to the roster cuts, and I bet he won't be there. There's just something, this little voice on me says, it don't matter what he done. He wasn't making it. Like, I can still see the Chiefs taking Boodle or something weird.
Have they ever taken Boodle?
He's been right at the cut line every year.
Yeah, and he's going to be on the cut line again. He's their practice squad
Look,
hero,
here he is right here. Playing pretty good defense.
He's their practice squad hero. He'll be on the practice squad again. They're not going to put him on the team.
He's just a good special teams player. He's from the area. He played college in Nebraska. He's well known in the region. It would not surprise me, is all I'm trying to say.
I don't think like Spags nor Andy Reid or anybody else that has any say in this roster is going to be like, well, Boodle, he had one good play in the preseason, and he's from Nebraska, so we're going to put him on the roster. I just don't see it. Not 1 minute. Like, Boodle ain't making it. Boodle ain't making it. I think it's a battle between Khalif and El Boydo.
It's not like I'm saying I think he should make it.
Okay, we keep talking about. I just want to exclude Boodle because I don't. That's just absurd. But
you're gonna crap yourself if Boodle makes that 53. By the way, if Boodle makes the 53, you're burning the Jacksonville hoodie.
You've
talked so much trash.
Poop in the middle of the street in the middle of the day if Boodle makes the roster,
dude. But there's a shot.
Well, there's a shot that I'll be pooping in the road then. But either way,
this is gonna be a great YouTube short.
I think the battle we've been saying is Echo Boydo, Khalif Hallisey. Which one of those? What about Nick Jones, man? You think Nick Jones has done near enough?
Nick Jones hasn't got to play.
That's what I'm saying.
So how do you rightfully put him on the roster? He's just a 7th round pick.
Right.
You know who looked good today? Cam Jones, the linebacker.
Yeah, he did.
Cam Jones might have been the best linebacker on the field today.
Looked better all preseason though.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But look, Cam Jones comes out today and does awesome. They paid Cam Jones a lot of money to come in as a UDFA. Dude, a lot of this is going to be behind the scenes as well. They don't have enough players to even pay their practice squad and enough money. So it's like, good night.
Stephen James with the 5 bomb. Maybe we can donate that 5 to the Chiefs to pay their practice squad players because that's all Boodle's worth, anyways. $5, so they can give him $5. But appreciate you, Steve-O. Best podcast, post-game coverage, Kentucky Fried Williams brother style. That's Larry, Steve-O. Yeah, we were going to wait a little while to jump on. We don't know. We're kind of trying to get a gauge of when to get on for the post-game stuff. Like, because we know everyone and their mothers are streaming either during the game or immediately after the game. So we're like, when do you get on? You just jump on and deal with it? Or do you think it would be cool if we waited to, let the initial, like, wave of every other Chiefs YouTube channel ever going live right after the game, like waiting an hour or two, letting it sink in a little. That gets
pretty hard to do though. Then on those like Thursday night games and stuff. What are you gonna do? Wait till like 2 in the morning?
Yeah, you can't do it. That's what I was saying. So I don't know. It is what it is. But today we jumped on a little early just because it's preseason and it was
Thanks
winding
for the 5,
up.
Steve-O. Thanks,
yeah,
brother.
Steve-O. Appreciate it, man.
Give him a little catch up. K Calhoun says, I think Cam Jones is going to be a tough cut. Me too. Cam Jones was one of my like early like possible like dark horses to make the team. He's looked pretty good, man. There's just so many. This is the thing. It's a curse and a blessing. We're deep. It's a deep team, but there's going to be some good players cut. And we've already shown, look, I don't think Amir Smith-Marsette can find a way onto here. And he don't want to take 7. He's going to be forced to take 7. I still don't think you can get him on here.
I think he's forced to take 7, so I think that's where Bushman gets screwed.
So you're thinking that Bushman just we don't take 4?
Unless they don't, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. This is going to be tough to figure out. It really is.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but
I think they're going to take 4 running backs, regardless whether it's LaMichael Perine or Deneric Prince. I think they're taking 4, right? So I don't think cut that to 3. I think that you have that fullback spot open.
You think they make those decisions though? Sometimes when it gets down to 53, do you think they say, "Look, this guy maybe has edged this guy out, but this guy doesn't have as much hype around him, and he may clear waivers." Do you think they ever go that route?
I'm sure there's a lot of different little things that go into this that we don't even talk about.
Like
I was saying earlier, like at what point does it go from, hey, these guys were both amazing on the field, they both deserve to be on the team, but hey, this guy's work ethic's a little bit better. This guy's attitude's a little bit better. This guy, you know what I'm saying?
Well, look, you can just about you've got, for example, we'll stick to running back. Jerick McKinnon has had a long history of injuries. Not with the Chiefs, knock on wood, he's been healthy, but he's had a long, history. Pacheco's coming off 2 surgeries. Clyde is not the healthiest guy in the world. There's your top 3. So what if they say, look, Perine's been in this league a long time and people didn't even want him. he may clear waivers, but Prince has a lot of hype, and there's been a little bit of word maybe he can't clear waivers. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, do they look at it that way and be like, so if you put Perine, because at that point, once you get them through to your practice squad, they're kind of interchangeable. You kind of can designate back and forth, and
right.
And then you're looking at an injury too. We all probably are pretty sure Clyde's going to be injured by week 3. I mean, daggone. What are you doing, eating Pringles?
I'm eating chips, yeah.
What's he doing, just eating chips?
So, check this out. I think we got a little ahead of ourselves digging into the 53-man roster. Let's just stop right now, and let's just point out our observations from the game today. What did we observe today? So, I actually put on X. I had
Khalif with another big play right there.
Good, I'm behind, so I'm going to watch it. I'm always a play behind. I just love the way Khalif plays.
Did he tip the ball? I think he tipped it. He got a special teams on a kick. He tipped the ball. Look at him coming off the edge down here. See? Long. That's what Khalif Hallisey brings you.
Right.
You know what's weird, though, by the way? Yeah.
What?
Look who was right there with him, by the way. Frickin' Boodle. I'm telling you, Boodle was a special teams nightmare.
So, my first half observations. Justyn Ross is a lock for the 53-man roster. 100%.
I agree.
Chris Jones is as vital to this defense as we've been saying he is. 100%. Blaine Gabbert is QB2. Rashee Rice needs to hit the jug machine and build some confidence. So, there's that.
Well, I like the way... Look, did you notice when he dropped some passes, though? Gabbert looked away from him. He was wide open twice. Gabbert wouldn't even throw to him. And then after halftime, they set up a few plays to get him some quick catches and get him back in the rhythm.
Yeah,
I think that was smart by Andy, which Andy does that anyway, but
right.
I think he's going to be fine, man. That's if anybody has any overreaction to this game, it's going to be the Rashee Rice drops.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Moving on from that, Perine may have taken Prince's roster spot. I said that at the end of the first half. And then Deneric Prince comes out and has a hell of a second half. So that's a tough one. FAU and O'Menahue are going to be fun to watch this season. They both get pressure. I think that O'Menahue being on the inside with Chris Jones will be an interesting wrinkle to the defense. I think it'll be cool to watch. So I like that. And then my last observation from the first half was Khalif Hallisey is a very good corner, worthy of making the squad. So that's what I noticed from the first half, Mike. Would you agree with all of that? Or is there anything I missed?
No, I mean, that's probably the highlights. We didn't get to see anything from the first team. So, I mean, you can't even comment on that. The only thing we can kind of comment on is the 53. Yeah,
Mike's so ready to jump into this bad boy.
You're spot on. I think he looked okay, but, I mean, he looked good. Don't get me wrong. He looked good, but...
He's out 6 games, and that's kind of sick.
Right, that's what I was going to say. Like, he's just out 6 games. Like, what does it matter?
The fact that him and Felix were the ones getting all the pressure...
Thanks for that. Well, who else is going to get the pressure?
That's what I'm saying. But like
Carl
the fact that they
didn't even play today, did he?
I don't think so. I didn't see him.
He didn't take a snap.
But yeah, the fact that these guys are the ones getting the pressure and one of them's not even playing for 6 games, it just shows you how important Chris Jones is to get in here. You know,
Christopher's got to get back.
Danny Wise had a decent game today. I'll give him that, but he's not done enough to make the squad.
Look, between good, great, I'm leaning more towards decent. He was serviceable. That's what I'm going to call Danny Wise today. He was serviceable. He's not good enough to make the roster.
But yeah, not enough.
If he makes the roster, I'd be completely surprised. Like, that may be the biggest upset of the year if he pulls that off. I'm with Amani, man. I think Khalif's the one I want to watch there at the 6 position.
He has to be.
Doesn't he make the team over?
Been saying it.
I think he makes the team over Nick Jones. Nick Jones may start the team. So look, does Nick Jones now have to? Does he have to make the 53, and then you have to put him on IR and then bring Khalif back, which means Khalif don't make the 53, which means you lose out. You know what I'm saying? There's so many little things here to call this 53 right. Maybe Nick Jones don't have to make the 53. Maybe you could put Nick Jones on the dang practice squad. He ain't done that much anyway for teams to poach him.
That's what I was saying earlier, man. Like, everybody's been saying it's between Echo Boydo and Khalif, but really I think I always felt like Khalif had a spot, and it was Echo Boydo maybe making a case that, hey, I could have this spot over Nick Jones. But I don't know. We'll see. I saw an interesting comment up here I wanted to get to, but
I wanted to hit this one really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
What happens if Chris Jones doesn't play the first couple games of the year and the Chiefs defense looks good? I highly doubt the Chiefs defense would look that good without Chris Jones.
Well, we saw that today, right?
Right. But if it were to happen, that's why we think Chris Jones isn't going to sit out. There's no reason for Chris Jones to sit out. Only bad things could happen from it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I was talking about that last night, Mike. Like, I don't think there's any benefit for Chris Jones to miss any time in the regular season because the only thing he's doing is opening himself up for, things that don't help him in negotiations.
Right. Bolts and Host says, Mike and Steve, are you guys sad Perine might have beat out Prince? I know you all hate that last name. PP? If the PP beats the PP, I mean, it is what it is.
No,
I'm
man,
not sad about it.
We're not at all.
Not cheering against nobody. Steve's cheering against Boodle 24/7, but other than that, I don't think we're cheering against anybody. Did he beat him out? I mean, he looked good, but they're going to be asked to do two different things. Again, Perine is McKinnon.
It's tough.
He's McKinnon.
See, last season, the fourth running back was Ronald Jones Jr. He ended up, getting 4 snaps the entire season? Something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, either way, I don't think – it don't matter which one of them make the roster. I don't think they're going to contribute that much.
So, look, just exactly what you just said. Rojo, even with the injuries last year, Rojo played 4 snaps. We did sign a few other guys, though, here and there. But if Dave Tobe is really 1,000% sure he wants Prince as his kick returner, then do you just take him over Perine anyway? You're not getting that many carries.
That's what I'm saying. That's why. That's what I was kind of getting.
Perine will probably go to the practice squad. Will probably clear waivers. I mean, nobody's wanted Perine for 4 or 5 years now. He's bounced around the league.
Right. Natalie, I saw where you said that you still think Shane Buechele should be QB2. I'd be interested to hear your reasoning on that one because I think it was pretty obvious today that Blaine Gabbert is QB2 and the reasons why you saw today. Just my opinion. I think Blaine Gabbert's obviously got more experience. He's more careful with the ball. He's got a bigger arm than Shane. Like, I don't know. I think he fits it, the description of an Andy Reid backup QB. Blaine Gabbert. I think
what it is, and not just saying, did you say Christy? Because you didn't bring the comment up for me, but
Natalie,
okay. Yeah, I don't think it's nothing against what Natalie's doing or anything. I'm not saying she's doing this, but I feel like Chiefs Kingdom, they get hyped on just 1 or 2 players, and they just want them to be there no matter what. The same way they dog on certain players, and they just, you know what I'm saying? Like people just like, we love Shane Buechele.
I played a favorite
Right.
this entire offseason with Khalif. So, I mean, I'm guilty of it as well. But sometimes you got to look at things objectively, right?
Well, look, we said Prince, given time, is going to be good. We called him an 85% roster lock 4 weeks ago. He ain't no 85 roster lock today.
Well,
he's a 50-50 shot at best right now with Perine.
Well, at the time, you're looking at, they're going to take 4 running backs, and he's obviously the 4th, right? And then Perine came out of nowhere.
Right, and there was Perine had never done anything in the NFL.
Right.
The dude had to get his own bus ticket to walk on at Florida.
Great story, though. Dude,
yeah, excellent story. Fine with it, but he comes out of nowhere. And that's what we try to tell everybody. Is you always got to take things with a grain of salt. And all offseason, all we heard was he's the starting kick returner. They love him. They do this. And Steve, you even said, does that matter what Dave Tobe says he wants as returners? Like,
no. There's a lot of guys there's a lot of guys on this team that can do that type of thing.
Right. But we've not seen Perine do kick returns, which is kind of odd.
So I think a couple of overreactions, right? So when we got Deneric Prince, I think there was a lot of overreaction on Deneric Prince. Like, hey, this guy's going to be the greatest thing ever. He's the next Adrian Peterson. Like, that was an overreaction.
That was an overreaction.
UDFA, right?
Thinking he was going to contribute right away.
Right, so hyping him up like that is an overreaction. And then I also think the way that the same people in the fan base quickly turned their back on him, they turned coat on him quick and said he sucked. And
because of a few flash plays by Perine.
Right. So it's just overreactions is all it is. It's all it is. The people's got to slow down, look at it a little objectively.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
I put some chips on my microphone.
Everybody's allowed to
Making a
overreact a little
mess.
bit. Yeah, Don't Run says it's the off season. Everybody's bored. Exactly. That's why people do that. But again, when the lights come on, they got to prove it. And Perine actually, and it's nothing against Perine. Like, we did not dislike Perine. Like,
Right.
Perine just didn't have a name and he didn't prove himself. He's proved himself. Perine looks good. But again, you got to look at it objectively as well. Perine's not the guy going to bust it up the gut 3-4 times. Like, so what do they want? Do they want the short yardage back in Prince? Do they want the upside? Do they not think he can clear waivers? There's so many things that go into this. It's not just about, Perine had 1 or 2 good flashy plays today. He's definitely on, and he's RB2 now. Like,
Right.
come on.
Mike, I'm just going to remind you that I cannot scroll up comments, so you're going to have to keep up with them.
Well, I'm keeping up. I'm at the bottom of the comments. I
letting
don't
you know.
need to scroll up.
You asked me why I didn't bring up a comment a minute ago. It was because it disappeared before I got to click it.
Do I have to bring you a mouse?
No, I'll get one.
Okay, I was going to say, I will just bring you a freaking mouse. You've been dealing with this now for like a week.
Just 2 days, actually.
Well, it had been a week. You just got it to work miraculously a day early. I don't know, man. I think if you look at it, the only thing that you can say 100% safe, I don't even know if you can do that. Can you even say quarterbacks are safe? Maybe Andy just takes, like, how does that new quarterback rule work? Do you have to put the third one on the roster?
I think you
Yes,
do.
he has to be on, but does it count? So are you allowed to technically take 54?
That's what I was thinking. Like, I don't understand that rule.
Like, yeah, they made
Someone
that.
even explained it to me before in the chat, and I still didn't get it.
They made that an odd rule. Let me look at it really quick.
I don't like it. I think it was just the 49ers crying.
That's exactly what it was. There's probably a new rule about the field conditions too.
How come when the Chiefs lose, there's no rule changes, but when other teams lose, they cry and they get rules changed? You ever notice that?
So wait, CBS Sports says this. With a little more than 100 days before the 2023 NFL regular season begins,
Third QB must be on the 53, Jeremiah says.
Right. The league's owner passed a bylaw. The bylaw will permit each team to field an emergency QB on game day that will not count against the team's 46
Gotcha.
active. So you get 46 active on game day. That on game day now you can take 47.
Okay.
Basically. So why don't they just say you can take 47 and 47 has to be a QB?
But he does have to be on the 53
But he
man
has
roster.
to be on the 53. So that means the only thing set in stone is our 3 quarterbacks and our 3 special teams guys. Everything else is a crapshoot at this point. Even tight ends. Are you going to take 3? You're going to take 4?
Yeah,
Don't know.
I would take 3 probably, but I mean, other people love.
I would
Bushman,
be leaning to
so.
3 too. But yeah, Bushman made it pretty hard today, didn't he? He had a nice game. Bushman catches everything.
So I see where Lewis says that Perine and Prince are better than CEH. Do you think that's real? Like, or do you think it's just the negative connotation of CEH mixed with how he's not been available, mixed with recent performance? Like, do you think it's possible that one of those 2 guys are actually better and would perform better on a first team?
Yeah, right. Dean says he's going to take 3 and cut Bell. That has been another big one. Chiefs Kingdom has hated on Blake Bell this offseason.
No,
It's been Bushman over Bell.
Blake
Chiefs
Bell
Kingdom
is
all
like
offseason.
the Justyn Watson of the tight end room. Like, you're just gonna have to deal with it.
Malia, trade CEH. Perine's better. What are you getting for? What are you
That's
getting?
what I was
Clyde?
asking you, Mike, and you ignored me. Like,
What?
do you think that's a real thing? Like, do you honestly think that Deneric Prince or LaMichael Perine are actually better running back than Clyde?
No. Maybe in the future, possibly. Look, Perine's played 4 or 5 years. We haven't seen him in an offense. Maybe this offense fits him. I feel like Jerick McKinnon's been way more productive in this offense than anywhere else.
For sure.
So that's what I'm saying. He's McKinnon. This offense just fits him pretty well, but he's McKinnon. He's your third down guy. He's going to catch the ball in the backfield and make somebody miss. You're not going to trust him to pound the ball up the gut. Again, you're not going to do that with Clyde either, per se, but Clyde's taking the majority of the first and second down snaps. That's what I'm trying to say. Andy just trusts Clyde. It's not about Clyde is better than this, Clyde's worse than this. Andy thinks Clyde's good, or he wouldn't be on the team, would he?
Exactly.
They also drafted him in the first round.
What's up, Ty? He says, fun, good game, neck and neck. Keep our pride factor up there with the win. Yeah, I mean, wins and losses don't matter in the preseason, but it always feels good to win, right? Like, even if it doesn't matter, it's still nice to look at the scoreboard and see that. And it's funny because I could almost tell you that was going to happen, because if for the whole first half, I felt like it was first team Browns against third string Chiefs. Did you notice that?
They played their starters
for the longest time.
Whacker was out there just getting.
But I had a feeling when the first team came off the field and it was equally matched with a lot of the 2s, 3s, and 4s that the Chiefs would pull the comeback. I kind of felt that.
Yeah, Whacker hadn't got this much work since 2019 off season.
Oh, Whacker. What about Juan Thornhill getting a pick 6? Like, it's funny because, a lot of people liked Juan Thornhill and they're like, oh, I hate to see it, but I love to see it at the same time. Good for Juan and blah, blah, blah. My first sentiment was, well, it's good to see that Juan's still screwing the Chiefs over. One way or the other, baby.
Juan Thornhill, he's a
slap net.
Dude, any other quarterback don't throw that ball. I mean, Shane Buechele gifted him. Maybe Shane owed him something. Maybe he had to make a bet or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Pop's in the house. He says it's going to be a crazy week, and Andy has some hard decisions coming. Ain't that the truth?
It's not even a week, Pops. They got to cut these down by Tuesday.
Yeah, they got like a day and a half.
We got like 2 days to do this.
Yeah,
and Steve, when we sit down tonight and we get this ready to record tomorrow to put out Monday, something stupid will happen on Monday, and the Chiefs will end up like putting a random player on IR and script the whole 53.
Or they'll
do something crazy.
That's just going to happen. It's impossible to predict everything, but it's fun to try. But yeah, there's going to be some interesting decisions that need to be made. I will say that. Andy will make the right decision, though, I think. I always trust that. So, like, no matter what I think, it's whatever. Like, whatever he picks, we'll roll with it and we'll be happy about it, right?
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Well, I think the one thing we've all figured out is I think Justyn Ross is a lock.
Yeah. I've been
has to
saying
be.
that, though.
Even with, we've said that now for a few weeks. Ross had tons of immense pressure on him. Lance had tweeted that out a long time ago, and people were like, Lance, you're crazy. You don't have no pressure. What are you talking about? We hyped him up for the biggest wide receiver ever. Like, the entire last year, we were like, just wait till Ross comes back. He's a Pro Bowler. He'll be wide receiver 1. We don't need D-Hop. We don't need this. And then when he got in there, he's played. He's not played like a wide receiver 1 D-Hop. Let's be crazy with that. Let's chill. But he's played pretty well, man. I think all of our wide receivers, now today, our wide receivers look like complete heart garbage for just about 10 minutes, 20 minutes of real time. Like, they were just dropping everything, couldn't catch nothing.
It was like Rashee Rice and Kendall Blanton.
Cornell Powell looked a hot mess. I think he's gone. I think you could just about say Cornell Powell don't have a shot.
Shane Buechele was trying to get some of those guys killed on his first drive.
Yeah. Cornell Powell will be cut, obviously. He's not getting in that top 7, and I think now he possibly does clear waivers now.
Yeah, he always has. I mean, I think he's a practice squad staple. I mean, he has been. I think he still is. That's what I was saying about Boodle. I think he's kind of like that on the defensive side of the ball. He's just your resident practice squad guy. Like, if you have to call him up and use him, okay.
Right.
But
I'm seeing a lot of people saying, can we keep 8 wide receivers with Smith-Marsette?
No.
Andy don't even probably want to take 7.
Yeah, it's a stretch to take 7 for real. The only reason you don't is because of Justyn Ross. And Justyn Ross is on a different planet than Amir Smith-Marsette.
Right, and Dean's probably right, too. Dean just says Smith-Marsette won't clear waivers.
No. I think
he might not.
I think he made a team today, just not the Chiefs.
Right, and it's possible, and that's okay. We can't hoard every player in the league. Let him go somewhere else and play. But if he's even on if they even created an 8th wide receiver spot for him, how many opportunities is he going to get?
Right. I see where Jesse says, let me see if I can get this to click up. Not going to lie, totally forgot about KT. Man, that's happening. That's a lot of people keep forgetting that he even exists right now, which is a good problem to have, right? Like, oh yeah, and we have Kadarius Toney. If the man can just stay on the field this year, if he can just stay on the field. But they're going to put him on the IR potentially.
Yeah. I think he'll probably start the season on the IR. I don't think you need him. I don't think you need to rush him back right now. It's that simple. Not to mention,
that's the thing,
when
like,
he's ready, he can start practicing with the team, right?
Right, but you got to be careful. Like, when he's ready to go, you got to get him in the game because he might get hurt at practice and miss another 8 games.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
Is
but
there a possibility
I wonder what his return is. Like, what's the timetable for that? Like, if they alluded to him coming back in week 1, but we both said we didn't think that they would rush him back in. But I haven't heard anything else.
I haven't either. That's what I'm saying. They could just come out tomorrow or Tuesday when they release that 53, and they could just announce it right then and there. 53 done. Cole says Wanye didn't play good today. He didn't look that great. I have to go back and watch it, but he struggled. Again, the Browns have a pretty good defensive line. So, I don't know, guys. It's going to be a wild one. I think me and Steve's going to have some trouble. Steve's been very confident with his 53, and I was sitting here thinking, well, barring tomorrow, we'll see. And then everything that could have went wrong in trying to pick a 53 man kind of went wrong today.
Yeah. Ty, is this real? Like, you really would do that? Or is it overreaction?
Would people do that?
Saturday?
Would people be crazy? Would people like just be insane if Kadarius Toney just got cut? Like, what would happen?
I don't think there's any way that happens. Like, literally, the contract he's on his rookie contract, we got him for another couple of years. If they can get value out of him, that's what they're going to do. They're going to use him.
D plus, who you cutting? Who you cutting to get Marsette on?
He's saying put KT on the IR. Put Smith-Marsette on as the 7th receiver.
Oh.
And then when KT comes back, you let Ross and Smith-Marsette battle it out.
But KT still has to make the 53.
Yeah, he does.
You've got to put him on. Then you put IR.
Yeah, but then they could. Yeah.
Yeah, which means Smith or Ross has to clear waivers.
Oh, they do? If that's the case, then that's not going to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe Smith-Marsette, Justyn Ross.
You can't just
not.
Look, I have said this since day one, and everybody's sleeping on the idea. The only people that don't have to clear waivers is if you've accrued 4 seasons, which means Justin Watson can be cut and re-signed instantly. Richie James can be cut and re-signed instantly.
You said that a long time ago.
What if you cut Richie James initially and you re-sign him back longer term because we've only got him on a 1-year deal? What if you re-sign him back longer term because he's earned 2 or 3 years with the Chiefs? And maybe you get a better contract out of him.
And you
that
say
frees
that
up
he's
more money
earned
for
2
the
or 3 years
squad.
with the Chiefs yet, though? Just off of
I think so. If you told me
just off of camp?
You're telling, okay, right now, I'm going to tell you this. In 3 years, if you look back and you say, who would be a better fit with the Chiefs and who do you trust more, Richie James or Kadarius Toney? I'm going to take Richie James all day. I don't trust Kadarius Toney
I'm not
at
arguing
all.
with that, but...
Now, again, I don't think that's crazy. Like, I think that's crazy is what I'm trying to say. I think it's crazy, and I don't think they'll ever do something like that. But my point with Watson and Richie James is they do not have to clear waivers. They've accrued. They can be cut and instantly signed. All these other guys under 4 years have to clear waivers. Chief KT says, oh, 2-bomb. Appreciate you, Chief KT. He says, do y'all think Watson would clear waivers? Justyn? I don't know. That's another thing. He don't have to clear waivers. That's the point.
Yeah, he wouldn't have to. He's accrued.
He don't have to. But if he was eligible to clear waivers, I don't know if he'd clear it or not. I think another team would pick him up. He's played that well, I think. He's played pretty well.
Yeah, appreciate it too, Chief KT. But yeah, I don't. Even if he did have to go to waivers, do you think? What if he did? Let's just say he does have to go to waivers. Would he clear?
No,
I don't think so either.
Jesse says, was BJ Thompson? Oh, thanks, by the way, Chief KT. Everybody throw some catch-ups to Chief KT. Appreciate the $2, my man. Jesse says, was BJ Thompson playing? He was. I think he got injured there late, but I don't think it was much. Yeah, D plus says, I don't think ISM or Ross would clear waivers, but maybe one of our young secondary guys. I think so. I think I don't know if Khalif would clear waivers. I do know that maybe Nick Jones could clear waivers at this point, the same way Najee did last year. I think Nick Jones could probably do that. So we'll see. It's whatever that is. Lee Dre Stevens with the 2-bomb. Appreciate you, brother. He says, that's the move then. the only reason I brought that up is, because they can't clear waivers. Again, Justyn Watson signed that 2-year deal. If you cut him, the thing about cutting him is you would have to pay money. Even if he re-signs, that goes back into the contract somehow. So you would have to pay a little bit on him. Richie, you would pay him a little bit as well, but his dead money is lower if you cut him. But like I said, I think I would be fine with cutting Richie James and initially re-signing him back and being like, look, we're cutting you from the 53, but it's only to give you a bigger contract, bro. And then I would sign him back to 2 or 3 years, and I'd free up some money for the practice squad, and we'll roll with it from that point. Again, that's just trying to think out of the box. I'm not saying they're going to do that. I'm just trying to look for a way to get more talent on the roster. That's my ick, I guess. I'm trying to hoard the talent. But thanks a lot, Lee Dre Stevens, for the 2-bomb. Everybody give them some ketchup in the chat. Yeah, I'm with Jesse here. Jesse says, not Nightbot. Jesse says, I'd like us to keep BJ around for a bit as a project. Well, we traded up for BJ Thompson. So does it make sense to cut him?
No, not unless they think that he'll clear waivers and go.
Would
to the
he clear
squad.
waivers? I heard there was other teams wanting him. That's why we traded up for him.
Yeah, I was wondering why they traded up and he took him so high. We actually had him taking him in the 7th round. So they took him a lot earlier than we thought he was going to go in the draft.
Right. Hey, guys, 179 in here, guys. Hit that like button. We only got 59 likes. Let's push that up to 100. Take 2 seconds. Back off the chat. Hit the like button. Click back in the chat. We appreciate you for doing that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do that as well. We'd really appreciate it. We like to talk Chiefs. We talk Chiefs all the time. We put out tons of content. So hit that subscribe button. Click that bell so you know when we're online, whether it's live, whether we're knocking out a short, whether we're knocking out some sweet videos. It don't matter. Just be sure and do that. Follow the channel. We're trying to grow it to 20K, and we can't do it unless you guys help us do it. So we appreciate you guys for being here.
I'm assuming HG Chiefs fans talking about the move you were saying.
Right.
Does the lack of cap space, does that make that impossible? Like, can that even be done?
I mean, there's always a way. There's a way all these teams...
Where there's a beach, there's a way.
Well, I mean, look, salary cap be damned. Look at what the Dolphins are doing. Look at what the Jets are doing.
Right.
These teams are just out here signing whoever they want.
Right.
The Rams did that.
They done maxed out their Capital One cards and everything.
Yeah,
signing these guys.
Just do what you want. There's a way around it. And we're talking like a couple million here doing it with Richie James. We're not talking about going and dropping, big money on somebody crazy or anything. So I don't know. It's probably not going to happen. I'm just saying that those are the guys that don't have to clear waivers. So if you're worried about waivers, that's the route you take. I don't know how you could do it. So I'm just throwing out some stuff. Bear with me here. Just throwing out some stupid ideas today.
Yeah, I mean, we do kind of have our heads out there right now trying to figure out this 53-man roster. So throwing out all these different scenarios is actually good, though. You just throw it all out there and see what sticks, right? Like what makes sense and what doesn't. I'm with Pops, 100%.
Yeah, that's the.
I mean, how obvious? Like, can you just go ahead and extend this guy? Like, even if you have to move a little bit and give him a little bit more than you want to, can you just get that extension done?
And again,
free up some cap space. Like, come on,
Chiefs fans, learn this. If you re-sign Chris Jones, it does open cap space. It does not take away money to sign other players. It opens money in the initial few years. It opens it up because right now Chris Jones is making 28 something instantly against the cap.
Yeah,
instantly it all goes, which you can kind of throw all that around and move it around a little bit and open some stuff up if you can extend them.
Pops always knows best.
I mean, isn't it just obvious?
It is. That's the sad part about it.
It's obvious to everybody obvious. But Lewis. Lewis is not going to do it. Lewis ain't going to do it. He would rather have Lewis would rather have I don't even know. Lewis would rather. He'd rather have me playing defensive tackle probably. And I mean, we're going to get swamped.
If you're cheaper.
But I'm going to play for cheaper than Chris Jones. I mean, I don't know what overpaying is. Like, when Lewis says don't overpay for Chris Jones, I'm genuinely curious. What does overpaying look like to Lewis? is 30 million overpaying? Because I agree. I think 30 million's overpaid, and I think Aaron Donald's not even worth that. I think that the Rams overshot what he was worth.
Yeah, Mike, that's
and they
something I
screwed it
discussed
up.
last night before you got on.
So he's not worth 30 million per
Aaron
year.
Donald's contract's an outlier contract, kind of like Wacker Watson.
Right. But more than likely, if Chris Jones has said, hey, he don't want to be the top paid. He said second since day one. So why are we even saying 30 million is exactly what he's wanting? Nobody's ever confirmed that. That's never been a confirmed story that he's ever said $30 million.
No, there was even people saying that he was offered 28 and turned it down.
That's
Completely
never
not
been
true.
That's
Like,
never
just-
been confirmed.
It's so weird how people just make stuff up to fit whatever
Okay,
narrative
is
they want to run
28
with.
million overpaid for Chris Jones?
No, I think that's going to be the mark. 27, 28 million, get it done.
Right.
Like you get what
So
you
I'm
paid
just
for.
curious.
Like you
So-
said, Mike, last night you brought up Quentin Williams. He's just sitting at 24 to 26 million dollars.
And he's good.
Contract's 24.
He's great.
He can make up to 26. Chris Jones is better than him at the current time. So yeah, 27 makes sense, right?
Chris Jones needs to be at 26, 27 with a possibility to get up to 28, 29. That's where he's sitting. I'm sure everybody knows this. I'm sure Chris Jones knows it. I'm sure Brett Veach knows it. I'm sure their grandmas know it.
Right.
The problem is working out the small end, and it's probably guaranteed money. That's all they're looking at. And I don't know what they think guaranteed money looks like or what it should look like, but that's probably what it is. But I'm not worried that Chris Jones is 29 years old. If I'm worried at Chris Jones being 29, then I'm shaking in my boots that Patrick Mahomes just turned 28. Or he's turning 28, rather.
Yeah,
rather.
the age isn't
Like
much
the
of a
age thing is
factor.
ridiculous. Let's stop with that. Like, why? Only the Chiefs fans think that the over the age of 27 is nursing home. Like only in Chiefs. Have you ever noticed that? Only
No, I've
Chiefs
noticed-
Kingdom.
I've noticed with Chiefs fans too, they're like the thing they don't want to ever pay anybody. Right? We were talking
Right.
about that earlier. They don't matter who it is, they don't want to pay them. So we understand where they got that from. Pioli, Peterson, all that. Like, well, we can't.
Right.
We're a mid-market team. We're a small market. We can't pay for these kind
Right.
of guys. So they're just ingrained that we can't afford that.
Well,
we can't afford
another
that.
thing too. If you
But
go back to Peterson,
what's the age thing though?
right? The age thing's just because that's what Veach. He just wants to get younger. We're wanting to get younger. That's the philosophy we bought into. So now anybody over the age of 26 is too old. We're brainwashed easily with whatever Veach says. Veach has got a magical power. He's got a magical
wand.
power.
He's a wizard.
But I'll tell you this. I forgot what I was going to say. There was another really good thing I was getting ready to throw out, and you got me talking about Veach the Wizard. I don't even remember now, but
It wasn't as cool as Veach being a wizard.
probably not. But I don't know. I just think that'll happen, and they got to get Chris Jones signed. It's just the way it is. And I don't know what I was talking about before Veach being a wizard, so that just got right in my head. See, Veach caused me to not say something cool that could have possibly went against Brett Veach. Oh, I know what it was. Pioli. If you go back to Pioli, if you go back to Carl Peterson, they were so cheap. They sucked. They couldn't get anything done. They wouldn't pay nobody. And every time they would take a chance at signing somebody to big money, be it Dre Bly, corner, be it Ty Law, be ever who it is, they were horrible scouts and couldn't nail the person they were going after, and then they would bust, and everybody would say, that's what happens. That's why you don't pay nobody. No, that's because they sucked at evaluating talent. It's not the player's fault.
Two
They
things can be
overpaid
true
him.
here.
Right, that's what it was. You would have never said that if they had to give the big money to the guy that actually produced, but because they didn't produce, because they sucked at evaluating the talent, like we all knew Dre Bly wasn't going to be a good corner. What was the purpose of paying that guy that much? Dude, I can rage on this all day. It's going to go in one ear and out the other because people are still going to say Chris Jones, they're in their feelings over Chris Jones. He's selfish. He's this, he's that. Big deal. Get out of his pocketbook. Are you Mike Florio too? Get out of it. Just get out.
So
Let him do
my
what he's
thing
got to do.
is before Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, the first Chris Jones extension, and Frank Clark. Like, who were the last people that we actually paid? Like, I think Justin Houston, we paid him, but then we wanted to boot him out of his contract, right? And that was
Yeah, we wanted him to restructure a bunch of crap.
Eric
at the
Berry,
end.
and then Eric Berry had all the sickness and the health issues. I
mean,
can't
look,
even remember.
We paid Mahomes a nice contract, a great contract, but Brett Veach still figured out a way to make it like a great, great, great team-oriented contract, which means they still didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, they still didn't commit on just paying the player to pay him.
Right. Pops, this sounds like something that Brett Veach would do. Like, honestly. Try to put in the fake years on the end of it. But I don't know if Jones and company's going along with that. That could be another holdup. They're like, hey, I don't want to do the funny money thing. Like, if I'm not actually going to get paid that, I don't want it on my contract. Or what they could do is do something like this and guarantee him a certain amount. I think guaranteed money is where the conversation's falling apart. Like, I feel like that's where they got to see eye to eye.
Do you look at it as this, though? I hate talking about Chris Jones crap. I really do.
But it's the biggest.
I know it's the thing to talk
gaping
about.
hole in the team right now.
But is Chris Jones looking at it like this? Like, dude, look, I've helped you guys win. I've gave you my entire career. I have continually got better throughout my entire career. When I was 28, I put up 15 and a half sacks. I am at the pinnacle of defensive tackle in this league. It is arguably the best defensive tackle. I want to be here for life. I want to retire here. I want to play till I'm 34, 35. Maybe he wants to step away when Kelsey steps away. Maybe those two step away together or something. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe he wants to play as long as Mahomes plays. Probably not going to play to 40. But point is, maybe he just wants to go till he's 33, 34, 35. And he knows this is the last chance to get the contract. If he gives the Chiefs 2 more years at a bargain price, and then Brett Veach says, well, hit the door, bro, he's not getting it nowhere else. This is his prime. This is his chance to get it. You know what I'm trying to say? And he wants it to be with the Chiefs, so we don't want it weighted in a way that where the Chiefs can be like, okay, well, if you don't get 15 and a half sacks, you only get 12 one year, we're going to boot you out the door when you're 31, and nobody else is going to pick you up. He don't want to play for other people, presumably. So you don't want to be booted out when you're 31 or 32, and you might want to retire when you're 33. Just let the guy retire here, even if he has a bad year at the end of his career. Who cares? Like, he's earned it.
Yeah. Yeah, Ty, I think it's guaranteed money. I think that's what speaks volumes these days. Kind of started with the quarterbacks and the Deshaun Watson thing. He got so much guaranteed money, but that his contract was obviously proved to be an outlier. I don't think that was the whole problem with like Lamar Jackson, right? Because he wanted that type of contract, and then no one wanted to give it to him. But I still think guaranteed money is what talks these days, for real. But yeah, it could be the years too. Maybe Brett Veach. I have a feeling Brett Veach wants to do something like Pop said, like $25 million the first 2 years, then $35 million for the last 2. But we're gonna either, cut you or, restructure after 2 years. So essentially, you're only getting your $25 million a year. I don't think Chris Jones is going to go for it.
Yeah, I don't either. Sorry, I'm looking up something.
If they guarantee, so if they did do like a weird contract like that,
right,
like the typical Brett Veach contract, so $25 million, so that's $50 million over the first 2 years. How much would they need to guarantee him with the rest of it to make that doable for Chris Jones? You think, like if they said, hey, we'll guarantee you $75 million. But this is a contract, and we can get out of it after 2 years if we want. But you're guaranteed $75 million. You think he takes it?
I just don't understand why you would do that. Like, why would Brett Veach say, "I'm going to give you $75 million, and then after the second year, I'm probably going to cut you"?
No, it kind of leaves an option open because the guaranteed money comes out of the contract money. It's not on top, right? So, like, it kind of gives you the option. Like, by 3 years from now, is $35 million going to be the market for top of the line defensive tackles? I don't think so. I
don't think it resets until
like
Quentin Williams comes back again. Till this exact class right here comes back around, I think the next time it gets reset.
So the only way they could do that is if they just literally wanted to cut him after 2 years, and he's not dumb enough to take that deal. I don't think.
No, I think he wants to be here long term. He don't want to be 31 years old going and playing for another franchise he don't even want to play for, presumably, because he says he wants to play for the Chiefs. And you're not making any money at 31 at that point. Like, this is the time to make the money. You cannot blame Chris Jones and call him selfish. That's just what any good player would do. I mean, I wish they'd all play for free. Let's help the Chiefs. Let's go play for free. Let's play for a box of macaroni and cheese. And not even the good stuff. Let's go for the dollar
Craft.
the dollar craft, baby. But they're not going to do it. Like, it's just all wishful thinking. And then it's like sour grapes on all of our end.
Well, you know what? I said this last night. I'll say it one more time. I think that there's still time before the season starts. What the season starts? September 7th?
Yeah.
There's still time for an
They
extension
can
to get done.
contract all year long, by the way.
Right, but there's still
I'm
time for it to
almost
get. There's still time for it to get done before the season starts. And in my experience, when I look at past things like past contract negotiations and stuff, usually all the public posturing comes right before they land a deal, and that's what we've been seeing over the last week, or even 2 weeks, where Chris Jones is out there throwing things on X, and then you got Andy Reid saying, "Hey, there's no communication going on here. No one's even talked about it." And like, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Usually, I feel like that's at the end of these.
He's
contract
been quiet
negotiations.
for about 3 days now.
So
today could be day 4.
I'm thinking maybe something could still get done before the season starts. So
did you notice?
I'm not going to worry about this until it comes week 1 against the Lions and he don't play.
Did you notice Brett Veach was not asked a peep about Chris Jones in that was interview
dumb.
today?
Why would you even do that? That was terrible journalism.
Because they were instructed not to.
They were softballing him questions.
They were instructed to not ask Chris Jones.
Hey, I would have told him, okay, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Well, they're not going to because they work for the Chiefs. They're the Chiefs broadcasters booth. They're not going to do it. The thing is why are they so hush-hush? Is there something brewing right this second and they didn't want to mess it up and have them say something live on TV? Or are they still in the posturing stage? So it's like, I don't know. But
yeah, either way, I'm not going to worry about it until Chris Jones is not on the field versus the Detroit Lions, which I think is a bad move for Chris Jones, honestly. So I think he'll be there regardless whether they get an extension done or not. I think he'll be there playing. But either way, 150 people in here. Make sure to hit that like button for us if you haven't yet. It just takes a second. Go hit the like button. It'll help us out a little bit.
We're almost at 100, man. We're at 91.
If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hang out with us more often. We do a lot of Chiefs content, video podcasts. I was telling them last night, Mike, what our kind of plan is going forward. You know, since we have a lot going on with jobs and everything else, and we don't really do this full time per se, we still want to try to put out as much content as we can during the season. So probably 2 full video podcasts a week. And then we're going to look into doing some micro or mini podcasts, which is basically 10-minute podcasts to put out for a few of the other days of the week. And then, of course, we'll do shorts and live streams. So if you love the Chiefs and you want to hang out and talk football, this is the place to be. So hit that sub button if you haven't already, and we'd appreciate that. Also, if you like it more than just being a subscriber, you can join and be a member. You can be part of the ACU crew. It starts at $4.99. Just hit the join button, and that'll open you up to some cool little perks.
Yeah. Anthony, he said he sent us an email. Did we get it? Let me look really quick for you, man. I'm pretty sure I seen it in here. Were you just sending it for a gift or something you'd won?
I don't know.
Yeah, a poster. Yeah, we got it, man. It's got your address in here. I got it. So you're
good. Yeah, you guys that are waiting on the posters, it's kind of on me right now. I got to get my Herbie Hancock on there for you, and then we'll ship it out.
Right. Well, I also had to order poster tubes off Amazon. I just had
did you get some?
I got them last night, so they'll be here in a few days. So those will go out probably within the week.
Cool.
For sure.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, man. Well, I don't know what's happening about the game. What's your thoughts on the game? Like, here's what I thought.
Well, I gave you my first half thoughts. Second half, I didn't get to pay as close of attention to. I saw basically most of the third quarter, but then we got on here live. So fourth quarter, if something amazing happened, I probably didn't catch it. You know, like something that changing. But I want to go back and watch the game and really dig in, like you said.
That's what
I want to do that. Like, I mean, honestly, Mike, I think you should just get in your car and you should drive over here and let's watch the game together and talk about it. That's what I think. But yeah, that's up for debate.
I might be able to do that. I got to go take Pops' truck back.
So yeah, let's do.
I will say this.
I'll say the game muddied the waters a little bit. That's what I'm going to say.
That's what I was going to say.
It muddied the waters. It didn't necessarily change my mind about 99% of it, but it did muddy the waters. It makes me think, like, I thought we were really going to hit most of this 53-man roster this year. I was very confident that we were going to put out our predictions and hit 99% of it. I thought that. I was like, this year was much easier than last year, per se. But this game kind of changed my mind. Like, it's getting a little bit more difficult. And like you said, there's lots of little different nuances that go into this. Like, I don't know. Like, the team might cut someone random or put someone on a...
We'll give you guys a preview of what the 53 might look like. I think right now, in this moment...
Let's just run through it straight off the top of our head.
Well, I was just going to say, we'll give you one position. Mahomes is a starter. Blaine Gabbert's the 2, and Michelle's the 3.
That's 100% lock.
That's 100% what it's going to be on our... We don't think Michelle done enough to get that 2 job. And I don't honestly think it cares. Like, I don't think Andy actually cares because we shouldn't even have to be worrying about that. Let's hope you never have to worry about it.
You know what the hottest new duo is in the NFL right now?
What?
Blaine Gabbert and Amir Smith-Marsette.
Oh, yeah. People's going to be trading each other on Madden for that.
Speaking of Madden, Pop says Madden simulation of the Lions game has us winning in overtime, 51-45. Complete shootout.
That's insane.
Madden didn't have Chris Jones in the game, did they?
Madden didn't even play versus a defense, it don't look like.
Man, Jesse, I do want to address that. That's something I thought about earlier. Nico Remigio, I think if he was healthy and he didn't have a shoulder injury, I had him above Amir Smith-Marsette. And I think he would have performed just as well in the preseason. I just do. So that's where I'm at with that. Me and Mike talked about this when he got hurt that day we were at camp. It was like, it sucks. It really sucks for Nico because he was balling out, man. He looked really good. But it could be a little blessing in disguise. What if Nico goes to IR, he clears waivers, we get him on the practice squad. And we can use him later if need be. Like, maybe.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if he would have performed like Amir Smith-Marsette did in the preseason, he wasn't going to clear waivers either.
Right. We haven't really heard much about that shoulder since it happened.
I'm just hoping it don't end up like a Jody Fortson situation where he needs surgical repairs.
That's what I was going to say.
Going to be out.
You may
for
see
the
that
entire
announced
year.
tomorrow.
Right.
You may see it announced that we reached a injury settlement with him or something. And
I hope not. I'd like to keep him around. I think he's a very good asset.
Samuel says, did Reese Taylor do enough to make a 53 rank? Dude, he looked good today. He really looked good. I don't know if he done enough for me if we only take 6 corners. I don't think he done enough to snag that 6th corner.
Is that what we did last year with 6 corners?
Yeah. We took 6 corners and 4 safeties.
He would have to have done enough to pass up Echo Boy-Doe or Nick Jones, in my opinion. Nick Jones, though, I mean, we have nothing on Nick Jones, really. He played a little bit in the first preseason game, broke his fingers. Is that what happened?
Yeah, Nick broke his fingers, and so far we haven't seen him since. So I think they're trying to hope he can avoid surgery.
Right. Yeah, I'm with Kelly, too, back on Nico. Dislocations are rarely clean. So he'd be very, very lucky if he didn't have to do anything like that. Ty says, still can't believe Rice didn't bring down that bomb thrown to him. Yeah, he was definitely upset with himself. I thought that was really cool of Blaine Gabbert to go over there and be like, hey, dude, don't worry about that. Get your head up. There'll be more coming. So respect for Gabbert trying to lift him back up. And they had to get him back in there and get his confidence back. And I think Rashee Rice is going to be great. Like, I think he's going to be a really good asset to this team. He offers us something that we don't have, kind of like Justyn Ross. Like I was saying, just that easy touchdown pass to Justyn Ross, that little jump ball fade type deal. That's something that the Chiefs have not been able to do for years. I don't think Patrick Mahomes has been able to do it in his era other than to Kels, maybe. And you don't see that often. So it's like...
Did they try that a few times with Demarcus Robinson? I feel like D-Rob tried that a few times and never could bring it in.
D-Rob was D-Rob. He probably ran backwards on his route. They're like, crap. Yeah. Hefe, I did see that. Rest in peace, Bob Barker. That sucks. Dang it, Bobby.
Do you not feel like Bob Barker's died like 12 times, though?
He's 99 years old, man.
But I feel like every day, like for like 2 summers, there was like Bob Barker died today, and he didn't.
You have to think about it. Bob Barker was in his 70s when he was beating up Happy Gilmore.
I know. Well, it's not. He lived a long life, that's for sure. It's not like he got robbed of anything. He didn't get robbed of any of his prime, that's for sure. But dude, Bob Barker way better than Drew Carey.
Here's something I want to bring up too.
At the price is right.
Ah, crap! I missed it. Scroll up to Ty's last comment. I want to talk about that for a second.
This one?
Yeah. So Snead's knee still hasn't been on the field in the
no.
preseason. That's something to consider when you're looking at cornerbacks as well. Is his knee iffy enough that they take an extra cornerback? Or do you think since Jamari Connor's a guy that can play safety or corner, they take him as a safety, which they're going to, and they don't worry about an extra safety or extra corner?
I don't know. I think
or do you just think it's a complete non-factor?
I don't know. What if they put Snead on IR to start the season? Like, we didn't even consider that. What if you just drop him?
We don't know what's going on with it. They haven't said a word about it other than his knee swelling.
Exactly. What if they were like, look, we're going to start Snead on IR?
Let's see. We've talked about this like a couple times, but we'll just name one, Mike. Dean wants to know who would be the biggest surprise cut. So who's like the biggest surprise cut? I don't think there's be any that's like super surprising, to be honest, but I think like the biggest surprise one to me would be if they decided to go ahead and cut Derek Nottie and go with Shelton or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy question in a way because the biggest surprise cut would be Mahomes.
Oh, shut up.
No, but I'm just saying, like, so yeah. So what do
I'll tell you a surprise one would be if they cut Justyn Watson. That'd be a surprise.
But I don't think they're going to, so that's why I didn't even say it. So.
Right, but I'd say that's the closest thing to like a big, like, whoa, they actually did that? Like that,
right.
That'd probably be it, right?
Yeah, but I still think you know what's happening. I think he's signed back instantly, and they're going with Mike's plan.
Right. Sam says, do y'all think Perine's not making the 53? I saw so much Perine today, but the only negative is he doesn't do special teams. This one's a coin toss. I'm not going to lie, because it looked like there for a minute in the first half and stuff, like Perine's going to take that RB4 spot from Deneric Prince. But then Deneric Prince got his opportunities in the second half, and he looked great too. Granted, it might not have been as flashy as Perine, but he still did his job and did it pretty well. And he's a kick returner. So like you said, this one's a toss-up to me. Gut feeling has always been that they would go with Deneric Prince as RB4. But I'm with Mike where I think Perine kind of fell into an offense that he fits well in. And he looks pretty dang good. So that one's a tough one. That's going to be, when we're doing our 53-man roster, that's going to be a tough one right there. Like, that's going to be one that we have to talk about for a minute and just take a shot on, basically.
Yeah. Well, what we do know is that you have 3 locks. Are they taking 3 or are they going to take 4? Steve thinks they're going to take 4. So that becomes that comes between Perine and Prince.
The fact that you can take, in my head, so this is my logic, the fact that you don't have the fullback this year that opened you up one spot, right? I don't think you need 4 tight ends. I just don't see the use for 4. I think that you go Kelsey, Gray, Bell, and be done with it. I'm sorry, Matt Bushman. I think that you did fine. You played well, but you didn't play well enough. And not saying they didn't play well enough to be the 4th tight end. If they were going to take 4 tight ends, then yeah, it's him all day over Kendall Blanton. But do you need 4 tight ends? Is a 4th tight end more important than a 7th wide receiver or a 6th or 7th cornerback if you need it? Like, is that 4th tight end spot really that important? Is it more important than a 4th running back? Like, it's kind of how it's not necessarily the players as opposed to what makes sense for the team.
Look, can we talk about? I'm with you. I think 3 tight ends is the way we need to go. But Honey Hands Bushman, baby. That was his nickname. Honey Hands.
He did play well.
He plays well. So if they're like, look, Honey Hands needs a spot here, maybe they do it. But I don't see him cutting Blake Bell for it. You're not going to take 3.
Yeah, I don't.
You're not taking 3 and cutting Blake Bell over him. I just don't see that one happening. Again, Blake Bell's one of those guys that could get cut and you could re-sign him because you don't have to clear waivers. So keep that in mind. But I just keep seeing this. And again, I know everybody's new and they're not been in here a lot. I get tired of talking about Clyde. I just don't see them cutting Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I just don't see it. And I think there's a big misconception on Clyde, by the way. Steve, off the top of your head, Clyde's played for 3 years. Off the top of your head, I think he's probably rushed the ball somewhere around 300, 400 times. That's what I would guess.
He's only played for 3 years now? I thought it was 4. It is 3, ain't it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's only 3 years, and everybody's already acted like he's the biggest.
Right. Well, he's missed a lot of it.
Right. He just missed some. He's rushed about 300 to 400 times his career. What do you think, by the way, because the misconception is Clyde can't run the ball inside. He can't run the ball. He can't hit a hole. He can't do this, can't do that. What do you think his average yard per carry is in the league?
4.2.
Knowing the way everybody talks about him. 4.2.
Did I hit it?
No.
What do I?
You're lower.
Oh, am I? I thought I won a prize.
It's 4.4. Clyde averages 4.5 yards a carry, guys. What else do you want this guy to do? You could presumably give him the ball 3 times and his average is a first down.
Here's my thing with the Clyde thing. I understand people hate him right now. It's a cool thing to do to hate Clyde. I get it. I don't necessarily care for Clyde. I like Clyde the person, but Clyde the player I don't really care that much for. Does not matter to me.
D+, you're out of your mind if you think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is getting cut. You're out of your mind.
Yeah.
I would bet you $1 billion Clyde Edwards-Helaire, unless there's a miraculous trade, he will not just get cut.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I'm seeing, Mike, and I think it's a bit of an overreaction, is for anyone to say that LaMichael Perine or Deneric Prince is a better running back than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's just not true.
Dude, Clyde, okay, look, Andy trusts Clyde. Clyde blocks well. Clyde
do they have more potential?
The
Could they eventually be better than Clyde?
Yeah.
Yeah. But right now, with the experience factor, knowing the offense, no. Just no.
My bad. So he said CEA does make the team, LMFAO. What are we talking about? Right. Okay. So he's on board with Clyde making the team. Exactly. It's insane.
I thought he was saying,
I thought. So look, don't tell me to reread the comment. You phrase it better. D+, bro. No, I'm joking.
But
okay, I'm wrong. But yeah, okay. So agreed. He's making the team. I don't see how anybody can think that Clyde's not making this team. I just don't. And he's gonna do decent. I don't want to say Clyde's gonna be like a world beater, but I think Clyde could have a great year this year, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he really could. There's a lot of guys that look from an outside perspective. I play fantasy football with some guys, a lot of football fans that are big into this stuff. And you'd be surprised when you get outside of the Chiefs periscope, like the little, I don't know if that was the right word, but if you get outside of that, like to people that are fans of other teams and just look at it objectively, they all think that Clyde could potentially have a better year than Isaiah Pacheco. They really believe that.
I'm seeing that everywhere.
They really believe that. So, I mean, it's like, we get in our echo chambers as Chiefs fans, and then it just builds and builds and builds. And I don't necessarily believe it. I mean, I understand it. I get where people are coming from when they don't like Clyde. They're tired of Clyde. But, yeah. Pop said we had 5.7 million views. On what? Because I think you're cutting it short if you're just counting total.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Because we're over the 10 million mark.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think YouTube has it listed something like that if you go look.
That's strange.
It's because we've got like private videos and they don't count the totals. They pull those totals out.
I got you.
Yeah, we've got a video that's got over 1 million hits on it that's private. So YouTube takes the total off. YouTube's weird. They've got the dumbest. I hate YouTube, by the way. I hope they're listening to this.
JT says the reason why we don't like Clyde is because he's the worst back we've had in 10 years. Is he? Do you think Clyde's worse than like Spencer Ware, Damian Williams, like that little era, like where we used Tarkandrick West a lot, Nile Davis? Like those guys, I think it'd be unfair to say Clyde's worse than them.
Yeah, that's a stupid comment.
JT's going to smack you upside the head.
Sorry, JT, it's a dumb comment. That's just dumb.
Next time we meet up with him, he's going to get you one good time in the back of the
This is
head.
a dumb comment. Dude, I'm just saying though, look, if you look at Clyde's rookie season, the dude was a beast.
Yeah.
Like, he come out and could play. Like, that's all I'm trying to say. Like, he could play. And be it injuries or whatever
I have a fun experiment. Let's look at Clyde's rookie year compared to Isaiah Pacheco's rookie year stat-wise.
Okay.
Let's do that. I'd be interested because I really don't know, and I'd be interested to see how they.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'll get it.
And we'll factor in like how many carries they got and things like that too, because Clyde might have got a little bit more than.
I'll do every bit of it. Don't worry. Don't you worry your little head. Clyde's rookie season. Okay. Actually, look, let me just go ahead and spit it out, and you tell me which one's which.
Okay.
Okay. Let me make sure they started the same
We're
amount of games.
experimenting. We're doing an experiment, Mike. We're like mad scientists over here. We're getting to the bottom of this.
Right. Okay. Let's see. 170 attempts for 830 yards and 5 touchdowns.
That's pop.
Right. Clyde, 181 attempts.
To Pacheco's what, 70 something?
170. So he had 11 more attempts. And he had 803 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had 830 and 5 touchdowns. So almost the same exact
So
season.
the identical season.
Identical season, but yet everybody Pacheco, Clyde stinks. Okay. Again, Pacheco, 13 receptions for 130 yards. Clyde in his rookie season had 36 receptions for 300 yards and a touchdown. So Clyde was all around better in his rookie year. Now I know people are going to say he played more.
Different offense,
Pacheco did
like
start. Pacheco only started 11 games. Clyde started 13, so he played in 2 more games.
But if you go by the attempts, they were pretty even.
But the attempts were completely together.
Like 11 more for Clyde.
11 more for Clyde. So
now Pacheco probably averages more yards per carry. You think?
Pacheco's yards per carry overall. Let me see. Let me go back. His yards per carry overall. They don't even have it on here. Oh, 4.9. So it's 4.9 to 4.4 over their career.
Okay. But if you have more attempts, it's going to be a little bit lower, usually. Just kind of how it goes. But, well, that was a fun little experiment. Didn't really solve anything. But that they had similar seasons, their rookie season. The only difference, the big difference is that Clyde and the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl.
Look, the big difference is this.
In his rookie season.
In 2022, okay, look, I get it. Clyde, rookie season. It's not his rookie season. This is not his blah, blah, blah. In year number 2, he started 3 less games. He had 60 fewer attempts probably, 517 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he still caught 29 balls for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. Last year, he fell down to 6 games because of injuries. He had 71 attempts at 302, which was a 4.3 yards average. He had 17 catches for 153 and 3 touchdowns in just 6 games last year. Like, he was producing last year before he got injured. Like, I think that the common misconception is Clyde's no good, but it's Clyde can't stay healthy. It's Kadarius Toney all over again. Like, that's the disconnect here, I think. Which is why we said if he's healthy, Andy uses him.
People don't hate Kadarius Toney as much as they hate Clyde and they have similar reasons, right? Maybe it's just because Kadarius Toney's newer, like he's a fresher face. But yeah. What's up, Plain Rock? Hope you're doing good, my man. Good to see you in here. But yeah, Lee Dre makes a good point. One was a 1st-round pick and one was a 7th-round pick. That's all the difference. Yeah. That is the difference. The thing about it, Lee Dre, one was a 7th-round pick that probably should have been a 4th to 5th-round pick, and one was a 1st-round pick that should have been a 3rd-round pick. They don't get to pick where they get picked at in the draft. So,
yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, I think if you went by their talent, like Clyde should have been maybe a round ahead, or maybe 2 rounds ahead of Pacheco, and that's just because he played at LSU and Pacheco played at Rutgers. Does that make sense? Did that make sense to you? It did in my head.
Yeah. It's about where they got picked and where they played college ball. We all get this. Normal humans can look at that and see it. But everybody's just so in their feels. Like, they just want to hate. Toby says Clyde just doesn't hit the holes that common fans see. Well, common fans can see every hole because we're not out there, and we can look at it 1,000 times and be like, hey, he missed that hole. What did everybody say about Pacheco last year? He can't hit the hole.
Yeah, that was his big knock.
That was his biggest knock last year.
Yeah.
It's his field vision. It's so much easier to say. It's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback. Like, I just...
when you see that,
I know I'm talking to a wall. I'm talking to a wall.
Television view where you can see everything perfectly, and you're like, "There's a little bit of a hole up there."
I'm just saying, like, I'm talking to a wall because nobody's ever going to come around on Clyde and give him any sort of credit.
I'm not trying to get him to. That's another thing I want to make sure.
Yeah, that's my thing.
I really don't care.
Like, hate him all you want, but at the same time, just acknowledge the fact that Andy will use him because he does produce.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get people to realize that Clyde's going to be on the team and Clyde's going to get used a lot. Like, whether you love him, hate him, whatever, it does not matter because Andy Reid is going to use him. Right. Andy's the determining factor. Me saying that he's going to make the team doesn't make Andy just be like, well, I was going to cut him, but that guy over there. Yeah. Hey, Ty, I saw that. I think Josh Jacobs signed a 1-year deal with the Raiders. Pulled like a Saquon Barkley type thing where they weren't happy, but they signed a 1-year deal. Is that the new thing for running backs? Like, we can't get on the same page, so let's just sign a 1-year deal? Man, I don't know. People are dumb. I don't even know why Barkley held out. He ultimately didn't even make nothing off the holdout. No, it was a raw Jan says Nick Jones won't need surgery. Well, if that's the case, that's great. Does he still deserve to make the team over Khalif Hallisey? No, not at this point. I don't think so. That's funny because, like, Khalif's a UDFA. He's 7th round pick, but see, that's the thing about it. How close is that? Because I thought they were going to take Khalif Hallisey in the 7th round. That's right. One of the picks I had. You might have just took him because it was easier to write the name on the. They could spell it better than Khalif Hallisey. They didn't want to attempt it. So he's like he was trying to write the name on the card, and he's like, "Oh, screw it, Nick Jones." Nick Jones, and I won't even put the K on it. Just take it. Yeah. And they're like, "Dude, Nick, don't even put the K on it." So it's cool, and he's like, "Cool." Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, right now, I feel like Khalif's like cornerback 5. That's high praise, man. 5 or. Would it be 6 maybe? Let me count it out. Let me do my. You got Snead, McDuffie. Hefe, why do you want this? Watson, Williams. You guys are all going to vote he's trash. We get it. Like, that's the whole conversation is that you guys say he's complete trash. Whether he is or not, it's just going to get voted that way. That's the point of the conversation. Well, the whole point of the conversation is that even me and Mike can think he's trash and not like him, but we know that he's going to get the playing time. Right. Like, I'm not saying he's the greatest running back in the world. That's what we want. I'm just trying to put things in perspective here when I bring up his season versus his rookie season. He's going to be on the roster, and he's going to get reps. He's going to get carries. He's going to get just perspective. He's going to get just as much work as Pacheco, guys. You know that's what's going to happen. Exactly. Toby, where does he rank on your depth chart? He's 2. Yeah. Because McKinnon is a 3rd down running back. He's a 3rd down back. Those usually go RB3, so that's why you got to put him at 2. Will McKinnon get used more than Clyde in the passing game? Yes. Yeah. I don't know. It depends on what the split is. But yeah, okay, he's 2 or 3, but usually they'll call him RB2 because the RB3 usually goes to your. Here, we do say that he might get as much as Pacheco, and he might. But we've yet to see them in a full season together and how that will be used too. So I'm kind of curious to see when they're both healthy, how they're going to use them. Right, that's my thing. Like, Chief fans will lose their mind if week 1 they're both healthy and Clyde gets 15 carries and Pacheco gets 6. Oh yeah, they're going to lose their mind. And that that's a possibility because they could be still kind of giving Pacheco light work, letting him get over his injury stuff. Yep. Don't get. I wouldn't overreact to that in week 1, Chiefs Kingdom. That's what I'm saying. We're just trying to prepare you for some stuff. Don't go crazy in week 1. Like, wait till 4 weeks in, you get a quarter of the season over with, and then kind of look at it objectively and be like, where are we at with this running back? How are they divvying it up? Right. I'm curious. We'll see. HD Chief fan is fighting Nightbot in the chat. This is great. He said, I don't need a shirt, but I did get the ACU hoodie, and it'll be wrapped in Germany. in week 8, I believe that game
Yeah.
is. Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. Hey, everybody needs a new shirt.
Right. Jan says Chanel's a hip pointer. He's going to be okay. Yeah, we
Yeah,
thought
that's what
that
I
was,
figured. I mean, it looked like to me the helmet hit him right in the hip. That's what I figured it was. Because at first, like, you could tell it was like, the hip pointer is kind of like hitting your funny bone, but worse.
Isn't that just the epitome of the last preseason game? Like, Chanel didn't even really need to be on the field. He gets a hip pointer. It's not serious, but you evaded something serious possibly, and it's like, just get him off the field. Just get him off.
Hey, I think Cobra Kai Ty makes a really good point right here. Clyde is part of the game plan that will use him up first and save Pacheco for the back half in the playoffs. And that's true because there's a good chance Clyde goes out there, gets the workload he always does, and ends up hurt for 8 weeks. Right. Because that's what Clyde does, and that's why people are down on Clyde, right? Like, ultimately.
Yeah, I agree. It's all game planning with Andy.
That's a great way of saying it, Ty, that we couldn't apparently spit out.
And no, Stevens, you're not tripping. Perine's a fine running back. He's a fine running back. But again, I think he's RB like 3. He would fight McKinnon for spots. Like, you're not going to put him in on first down and let him punch it up the gut.
Another thing with Perine too, is like, you guys remember some of the last couple of preseasons where everybody thought Derek Gore was amazing.
Right.
Is that his name?
Derek Gore.
Yeah. And like, everybody's like, oh man, he's RB2. He's amazing. Where's he at now, with the Saints or something? Like,
yeah, I mean, you get this.
I feel like
stuff.
Perine's kind of in that space,
Yeah.
JT says he's worried about Nagy calling plays. I don't think people have been paying attention. I'm not. I've been wanting Nagy back in there for a minute. Like, I don't hate the enemy, but I just feel like Nagy might be better suited for the Chiefs offensive coordinator job. That's kind of where my head's been at. Like, I feel like him and Pat are pretty close. I feel like Nagy's had more experience with Andy Reid. I don't know. I'm excited to see it. If you go back to like right before Mahomes started, and it was still Alex Smith. I mean, that was Matt Nagy calling plays, and we had a potent offense with Alex Smith. So I want to see what Nagy can do with Patrick Mahomes, with the best quarterback ever. I'm excited to see it. But you're not necessarily wrong to be nervous, JT, but at the same time, I wouldn't worry too much about it either. I don't think it'll be much of a difference because ultimately it's the Andy Reid show, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Hey guys, click the like button. We're at 99. Let's get one more like. Let's get to 100. How about it? Let's get to 100, baby.
How about it? Yeah, I think that's a sentiment. A lot of people think like Bieniemy's. I see where Lead Ray says that Bieniemy's more disciplined, Nagy's more creative. I guess that's a way of saying it. Maybe not disciplined, but more conservative. I don't know.
I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine with it.
Yeah, that's my main thing is like, I do know that Nagy and Mahomes have a really good chemistry. They have a great relationship, and I think that goes a long way because, I mean, ultimately, like I said, it's an Andy Reid show, but the offensive coordinator and the quarterback get a big say in play calling. And someone else, that if you watch the behind the scenes stuff that we've got to see in the last year or two, Travis Kelce gets a big say in the play calling sometimes. So it's like, it's kind of a mutual effort between a handful of guys. So the better that those guys, the more they're on the same page and the better relationship they have, the better the offense is going to run, in my opinion.
Right.
And I feel like Bieniemy was a little polarizing. Like, I feel like sometimes Bieniemy was very stubborn, and like maybe even when he was right and the other guys were wrong, like the way he presented that to them, sometimes I think that could have been a little bit of a rift as opposed to everybody just kind of being on the same page.
Oh, one thing I wanted to bring up. How many linebackers do you think we'll take this year? We only took 4 last year.
I'm thinking 4 again, and I think that it's going to be...
You don't think they take the 5th? You don't think Cochran's earned it or Cam Jones is pushed?
Well, they did only take 4. I think if they take 5, it would be Cochran. But I don't know if they will. That's another one of those iffy things. So when we start doing the 53-man roster,
I think a lot of the heart of this.
I think Cam Jones played well, and I think he made a good, argument for being in there. And he also is good on special teams.
I think a lot of the heart of picking the 53 is trying to determine how many at each position Andy's going to eventually settle on. I really do. I'm still looking at how they. Yeah, see, Kelsey says 5 linebackers, and I've been with Chief Kelsey for a long time. I think 5 linebackers, but
They take 5, so they take the obvious 4 and Jack Cochran. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you think, Chief Kelsey?
Probably.
Do you think Cam Jones has any say in it? Do you think he could maybe take Cochran?
Well,
for
after
the 5th
today,
spot?
he looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. But
Cochran, I think Cochran had it. I mean, again, is Jack Cochran enough at the 5th linebacker than maybe Nick Jones at the 7th corner?
Yeah, so it's going to be tough to do. Like,
maybe they don't want to cut Deion Bush, so you have to cut Cochran. What if you don't want to take an extra defensive lineman? Like, what if they decide?
Yeah, so let's go up to safeties real quick, because you got your starters with Justyn, Reed, Brian Cook, and then you're going to have Mike Edwards, and then it would go to Tamari Connor. They might list as a safety.
They've still got him listed as a safety. But
I feel like you don't take more than 4 safeties. I feel like that has to be them. So I think.
So why can't they list
Bush? Just might be on the out.
Why can't they take 6 corners, list Chamari as a 7th, and make him like a split, and then still take Deion Bush?
That's a possibility.
Essentially taking 5 safeties.
That's a possibility.
Because Andy has taken 5 safeties a few times.
Hey, what's up, Yogi? Better late than never, my man. Good to see you.
The big surprise for me has been Justyn Ross. He's been doing special teams. He's actually been on coverage and everything, which is really weird.
I don't like it.
I didn't think you would do that to a guy with a neck fusion.
I thought it was when they had mentioned that in practice and stuff. I was like, they are got to be out of their minds to put Justyn Ross in special teams. But
they're going for it. Maybe they just told him to get in the way.
It's not even that. Maybe I guess you have to think if you think Justyn Ross is safe enough to play football, then you have to think he's safe enough to play special teams.
Well, yeah, because that's football.
Right. So, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe you just get a little too conservative sometimes when you think about things like that. Oh, so Chief Kelsey said Cochran is who his 5th would be.
Yeah,
I agree.
for sure. I think so, too. Cam Jones has looked really good, and I actually thought Isaiah Moore looked good. I liked Buddy Johnson all the way back in the OTAs. The off-season stuff, like the rookie stuff. And
did you say Buddy Johnson?
Yeah. Where'd that come from?
Cole. I don't think Cole knew who Buddy Johnson was, and it was just confusing the heck out of him.
So he's like, who's Buddy Johnson?
He was like, yeah. He was like, Buddy Johnson? Who are you talking about?
Cole's a chooch. Drink your coffee, Cole. Yeah, I don't know, man. We do need to figure it out, though. I think tonight and tomorrow, we need to really watch this game again.
Yeah, that's key.
Take some good notes, and tomorrow and even tonight, we'll probably start digging into that 53.
You know what's funny about this game muddying up the water so much is because prior to this game, I said I don't think it matters what happens in this game. I think it's already kind of set.
Yeah,
and then now I'm second guessing myself, right?
Kind of bonus on that one, Steve. Good job. You also said, I think we're going to hit the majority of them, and then all hell broke loose today.
We got this, my man. We got it. We're over 100. We're over 100 likes now, so thanks, by the way. If you haven't hit the like button, please go hit that for us. And if you're new to the channel and you love the Chiefs, hit the subscribe button. But yeah,
Kelsey says 3 tight ends.
That's where I'm at.
I like the 3 tight ends. I like the 9 offensive linemen.
3 QB, 4 running back, 3 tight end. This is offensively 100% where I'm at with it. Like right on the money. That's where I'm at.
Wait, Chief Kelsey, you're only taking 5 defensive linemen? Like 5 whole defensive linemen, edges and
5 linebackers, Mike. 9 defensive.
Oh, my bad. I'm seeing it wrong. I was getting ready to be like, that's impossible. 9. Okay. Yeah, we took. What did we take last year? 5. We took 6 last year, didn't we? Did we take 6 and 5 or 6 and 4?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I know they took Noddy, Wharton.
Well, I mean, here let's count out the ones that you know are a lock.
I think they take the 4 defensive tackles.
Right now, let's just count the locks on the team.
Okay.
You got Chris Jones, Keandre Coburn. Why did I get their names mixed up?
What are you talking about? Are we just doing defensive tackles?
Defensive line. Locks.
Okay, Turk Wharton's a lock.
Yeah, Turk Wharton. Then on the edges, you've got Felix and George. That's 5.
You've got Omenihu's a lock.
Charles Omenihu's a lock, so that's 6.
Mike Dana's a lock.
Mike Dana's a lock, so it's 7. So we're playing with 3.
Yeah, and you're taking.
Or he says 9. Chief Kelsey said 9, so that would be 3 more. So no, that's 2 more. 2 more. So who do you take?
So
Do
you're
they go
taking
ahead
Danny
and-
Shelton? You taking another defensive tackle there?
Well, I mean, you're looking at, is it Joshua Kando? Is it Malik Herring? Is it BJ Thompson? This is interesting. That one's
That's
going to
what
be a
I'm
fun one
saying.
too. That was going to be a fun one too.
I'm pretty sure they took 10 last year, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not for sure.
JT, you really think that Danny Wise will make the roster? I don't think he's going to do it. I think he's just been you play Chris Jones while Chris Jones is holding out, and then we'll see you next year.
I don't know. This is going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy trying to pick this. We could have 2 or 3 different 53 mans and then have to settle on how we think they're going to work.
Chief Kelsey, do they not have to put Charles Omenihu on the 53-man roster to then put him onto the
Presumably, if you don't make the 53 man and you bring him on, then don't you? I'm not sure how that works.
Well, if you don't put him on initially, when he comes off of his designation, he would have to kick somebody out. But that's a possibility. He's out for 6 freaking weeks. If that's the case, then that's a huge possibility.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how that works.
So he's exempt due to suspension, Yogi says. So he does not have to be on the 53-man roster. So that opens up a spot. But then after week 6, they're going to boot somebody and put him back in.
Yeah, I mean, he's not okay. So look, so
we need to consider that when we're doing our 53-man
yeah,
roster.
he's not paid game day salary for any of his time. He's not counted against the 53-man roster. So that's what it is.
Okay, so in that case, I think that opens up the doors for BJ Thompson.
But
Too much potential.
But when he comes back, somebody's got to go. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right. So is this where Danny Shelton comes into play? Like, hey, we'll use Danny Shelton, even though they're not the same type of player. But it's like, hey, we'll use Danny Shelton for 6 weeks, and then if we have to put him back on the practice squad for Omenihu's spot, that's what we do. Do you think that could be it?
Possibly, man. So we're just going to have to look at that. Somebody said Allegretti was in street clothes. Oh, HD Chiefs fan. Yeah, I think Allegretti's probably on the team for sure. He's your backup center. Austin Ryder's gone. I'm almost positive. Ryder didn't even make the team last year, did he?
I don't even remember
Or the year
Allegretti
before.
playing center, to be honest. Did he? I know he's a guard.
He can do everything.
One of
Allegretti
those
plays
guys.
center and
No,
guard.
Caliendo, he's a guard and can
Yeah.
play center. I mean, with offensive linemen, let's talk about that for a second real quick. We'll just talk about that real quick. But you're looking at your starting 5, which we already know who they are. And after that, I think, Wanye, Darian, or
take
Locks.
4.
I think you have to have those 2. And then who else? Do you go Prince, Tagovailoa? I think he looked good enough at left
Prince
tackle.
and
today that you
Allegretti
take
would
him.
probably be where
And
I would
Allegretti?
end up with it.
Yeah, I think so too. That's where I'm at.
So yeah, that's how I would end up. But see, a lot of people's going to say Lucas Niang over Prince, and
I don't know.
you still got Jerome Carvin. He looked good.
That's a
You still got
possibility,
Caliendo,
but
he looks good.
Hey, Casey, we know Shelton's a defensive tackle. I was just saying that those spots are interchangeable. Like they don't. Him and Omenihu don't play the same position, but his roster spot could be the one that gets taken.
Right, you can maybe throw 5 DTs on and then pull one off when Omenihu comes back or something. I don't know, man. It's going to be fun, I guess, if you call torture fun trying to pick this. But
another thing Casey said, no BS, I don't know about Felix. It looked like he gave up a lot mid-play. Felix got more pressure than 99% of the team. Like he was on it this preseason. So.
yeah.
There are some plays where those guys don't rush. It's designed for them to hold, like in their position. So maybe that's what you observed. I don't know. Or maybe you quit on a couple plays.
I wonder what the deal is with
D plus.
with Allegretti's shoulder, though. I mean, is he fully? Is he going to be able to return? Is that something they could look at for an IR? That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many like possible IR designations. How many? Are you limited on how many IR designations you can give? I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah, D plus Niang did not look good. He didn't look good in the last preseason game. I'll tell you, I'm not an offensive line expert. I never played offensive line or anything like that, really. So not enough to tell you anything about it. But what it looks like to me, Mike, and you can be the one that corrects me on this.
Yeah, what's up?
When you went back and watched the Arizona game, one thing I noticed with Lucas Niang, I felt like he was off balance a lot. It looked like to me that he was like, instead of being solid and extending, it looked like to me he was reaching and leaning and getting really off balance. He just didn't look good. Like something looked off there. I don't know what causes that or if that's even the proper technique that I'm saying. But that's what I observed. I felt like he was leaning a lot and off balance a lot, and he got beat a lot.
Well, what I noticed today with Niang is the exact opposite. He was letting everybody into his body, and he was being pushed. So what makes me, I'm kind of thinking is maybe they're working on something with him. Like, hey, don't let him into your body so much. And maybe he was overly aggressive and was getting out off balance. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe they called that out, and they're like, let him come into you a little bit more, and he was letting them in too much today. But the point is Niang is too... We're at the end of the Niang experiment. You still can't be you can't be messing up little things like technique at this point, in my opinion. I just don't like Niang as an overall swing tackle. I would settle for Prince Tega. To me, he looks better.
I agree. That's where I would be at. I think he looked pretty good today.
To be honest, Niang doesn't even look as good as Wanye, and I think Wanye's got a little work to do. I would much rather them take Wanye, which they will, but if it was between Wanye and Niang, you had to cut one. I'm taking Wanye all day. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
Yep. Well, we got a lot of work to do, Mike.
We do.
So we're going to go back and watch this game and check it out and really dig into the 53-man roster. We're going to get our predictions set in stone. And I think we're going to record that tomorrow and release it Monday morning. So be on the lookout for that for sure. So that's going to be fun. I see you, Eric. Glad you could join us. PP on the PP did play pretty well today. Both of them did. Prince and Perine both played well today, I think.
Yeah, they're all PPs because they just pee. It's P everything. Pacheco, Perine, Prince, Pilaire, McKinnon.
You actually said that one time.
Yep. It's crazy. I'm not looking forward to the cuts, but you know what? I don't know. I was going to say I was going to have fun doing it. I don't even know if I'm going to have fun doing it. I don't want to cut nobody, but it is what it is, man. I guess we're going to jump off today, so you guys have a good one. I would recommend everybody go back and watch the game again. Why not? Just have a good one. We got 2 weeks now before an actual game, so we'll see, man. But
yep. All right. Well, you guys have a good night, and we will catch you guys later. Catch our video on Monday, and you'll see our 53-man roster. So
yep. Thanks for hanging. See you guys.
There goes a sight from my soul.